Today's episode is brought to you by the Gathering of Fools, ambassadors of bourbon. Gary and Bean, thank you for all of your work in helping us get the best bourbons right here in the Gathering of Fools studio. We salute you. I want to take a minute to talk about Empowered Yoga. Empowered Yoga is a company owned and operated by my friend Amanda Gill. She's going to be doing online yoga classes during this pandemic and everybody being on quarantine. She's going to be posting the videos on, I believe, YouTube and Vimeo. But for more information on that, you're going to want to follow Empowered Yoga on Facebook, and on Instagram, it is empowered.yoga. So during the episode, we talk about how important it is to try to maintain a healthy lifestyle as much as possible and stay active. You know, a healthy body equals a healthy mind. And some of us, including me, aren't good at that on a regular day, let alone a day where we're supposed to be staying in our house and avoiding people and can't go to the gym. So I think this was a great time for Amanda and Empowered Yoga to embark on this venture, and I think it'll really help a lot of people out there. Again, I'm not sure how she's going to really set all of this up, but to stay in touch with all the news for that, go ahead and follow Empowered Yoga on Facebook, and on Instagram, it's empowered.yoga. I think it's a great thing, and everybody should check it out. All right. On today's episode, we have Blantonian, Justin Blanton. My good friend, you probably remember him from his previous episode. Obviously, to start out, we had to talk about the coronavirus and the quarantines and the things that are going on right now. I think this part was an important part. I think it's an important podcast. We didn't try to give our 2 cents on too much of it. We really just tried to give people stats and let people know that they should be concerned. Yeah, people keep comparing it to the flu and other things, but there are simple stats you can look at from China to Italy to here, and even comparing states to really let you know what is going on. So we went through that, and then I kind of gave my 2 cents on kind of how I view things right now, certain things, and my thoughts on how we need to come together as a community, which we all agreed on. But after that, we took a break, and Momma Hammer showed up. She had texted me before, asked if she could come. I said, yeah, come on over. We took a break. You can come on the podcast, join us. I did not realize that she was coming in hot. She had quite a few drinks. She was drinking wine. She showed up with the bottom of a bottle. I have to assume she drank a good portion of that bottle before she came over and finished that off while she was sitting here. I can't lie. I got frustrated at the beginning. Probably too frustrated. I shouldn't have let myself get that frustrated. I actually thought about editing it out as soon as it happened, and then I realized that my whole thing is I don't edit these, and that's real life, and everybody should see that and see how I handled it, the bad and the good. When we came back, I handled it much better. I admitted that I needed to get my life together, and we talked about what she really wanted to talk about, her new dating life. So this episode was serious. It was also fun. The portion with my mom and the dating actually, I think, ended up being really great as well, and really important for some people to hear. And I don't know. We had a lot of fun, a lot of serious stuff too, but I hope you enjoy it, and here we go.
My pits are sweaty.
It is actually hot in here, isn't it?
I don't know. Your sleeves are rolled up more than any long sleeves I've ever seen.
Long sleeves.
Yeah, they're definitely long sleeve. It's so like.
How'd you get them?
Those are never. You're not even. They're gonna be like.
Those will never be sleeves again.
Dude, listen.
You got to get some thick ass forearms.
It was really cold in here, so
recording?
I blasted the heat in here for a minute. Yeah, we're recorded. I
Sweet.
blasted the heat in here for a minute because it was fucking cold, and now I'm like, what did I do? I messed up.
I don't know. If you could picture this, Dave has a long sleeve T-shirt on with the sleeves rolled up as if it was a pretty tight short sleeve shirt.
I look a little ridiculous. Wait till you see my pants.
And he's got Daisy Duke sweatpants on somehow.
Oh, you gotta do that. Actually, I'm gonna do that.
This is just going to be a visual episode of The Gathering of the Fools, and you won't know what we're talking about. Check out that sign on the wall. None of us can see.
Listen, I messed up. It's hot. Jesus, I did this last time too. Fucking sweating. Holy cow. I don't even care what we talk about. We got to get out of here.
I don't, dude, your sleeves. I don't know how long I could be around them.
Gun show.
Something.
Sir, weak guns, Dave. Weak guns.
No, your guns look okay for a pandemic.
Like you mean like I haven't eaten for a while?
Well, no, you're looking pretty thick.
Sorry,
You're
messing with this fan to get it right.
You're gonna pull through. You're looking good.
Dude, I got all the food.
Okay, that's good. That's a good start.
The only problem is not a lot of vegetables because they go bad so quickly.
Yeah. Well, you can freeze them.
Yeah. I mean, I have a big bag of frozen broccoli.
Well,
and then I got a lot of noodles.
You got any ramps growing? Sprout soon here.
I'll tell you what, this might be if this continues, it might be the first time I get to use my survival school training from the Air Force.
Well, those are good skills to remember at this point in time. I would say. I think everyone might want to YouTube some survival skills.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm be out there making snares, which are illegal, but you know, it's pandemic time.
They're pretty easy to make, though.
Yeah, super easy. You just got to get the animal to run through them.
Yeah.
The
animals are dumb.
Yeah.
So they'll run through them.
Yeah, you should have seen my dog earlier when she took off.
She'd run through a snare.
Without a doubt.
So keep her on a leash.
She chases like 8 deer at a time, like she can do something with that.
There's even crazier stuff out there, like how to like drain your hot water tank and shit in case you need like water in reserve. Like drain your hot water tank, and like if you need to make yourself some armor, like use your thick books and duct tape it to yourself. You really got to throw down.
Yeah, I don't have enough books for that.
You got a lot of books.
I mean, I got a decent amount of books.
How many do your dogs eat?
These dogs ate no books, actually.
The other dog ate a lot of books.
Khaleesi ate a bunch of books.
She likes a good, but she's a bookworm, you could say. But not the same. Maybe that's how dogs like ingest information. Maybe they just like eat a book.
I mean, Khaleesi's real fucking smart.
She is smart. She knows a lot of words.
She knows a whole lot of words.
She even tries to say some.
Yeah, I believe that. Yeah, I could see her talking.
Yeah, almost. She's almost there.
You remember? You ever remember that commercial where the dog is talking to the kid and saying, "Hey, Steve, I really don't like when you get high."
Yeah.
The problem I have with that commercial, and I got this from Joe Rogan. He pointed it out. Is like if you were high and your dog started talking like that, you'd be like, "Holy fuck, you can talk!"
Thank goodness. I've been waiting for this my whole life.
Yeah, we're about to be rich,
right? And I'd love to talk to my dog.
Yeah, hell yeah, I would.
You probably got better things to say than half of these morons out here.
Oh God. All right, well, I guess I should go ahead and say this is the Gathering of Fools, and we have Blantonian, Justin Blanton, in the studio today.
Hello.
We got Carl working behind the scenes.
I'm waving if you can picture it in your mind.
Yeah.
So I'm waving to all of you.
This is actually going to be a visual-only episode.
Yeah, so it'll probably suck.
Yeah, especially since we don't have video. So in a minute, we're actually going to stop talking, and we're just going to draw things.
Yeah, and I'm good at abstract art, but not so much realism. So it's gonna be tough. It's gonna be a tough one. Yeah. Goodbye, everyone.
All right. Well, obviously, we're gonna have to talk about coronavirus because it's big news. It's real.
It's what's happening in the world everywhere, and everybody's lives are being affected in large ways and small ways and everything in between.
Yeah, so we figure we're going to talk about it for the beginning or first part of the podcast, and then switch it up to just some more fun, loving things.
Maybe some little lightheartedness to round it all out.
Yeah, but we have a lot of people. My big thing is we got a lot of people complaining about, at least here in Ohio, about the closures of bars and restaurants and other businesses.
Some people complaining that aren't even out of work. They're complaining for the people that are out of work because they think
everything like that, and it's important to think of them in these times, but it's also important to think about the greater good and like what closing things and having these mandatory shutdowns and things like that are really gonna hopefully, and the numbers are starting to reflect, even though it's still very young, I would say, like the numbers are starting to reflect that it is a good thing, at least in the state of Ohio from what I've seen.
Right, which Governor DeWine has been kind of at the forefront of closing shit down.
Yeah, he was one of the first to do so. I think last Sunday when he announced the bars and restaurants, I think that I've never seen such a thing in my lifetime.
Yeah, no,
definitely.
Well, and I should point out that I am actually one of those people that is affected by that. I am out of work, seeking unemployment, and trying to get into the grocery store business because I feel like that's not going to close.
Yeah,
even though I may not make as much money, at least I'll be working. And I'm going to have to in order to keep this podcast going because it costs me $75 a month at least to keep going.
Yes, we could stop. And so, donate, people.
I actually was thinking about starting a Patreon just so people could donate if they wanted to. I mean, I'm not really going to say like, hey, come on, guys, but I'll put it out there.
I'll say it for you. Come on, guys. You want this in your earlobes. I know you do.
Right, come on. We're on
ear holes.
Ear holes.
You don't really hear with your earlobes.
Yeah, that'd be weird.
Why did they get bigger then? If they're not getting stronger.
If they're not getting stronger, why are they getting bigger? I'm so hot. It's so hot here.
Dude, if you could sleeve the sleeves on this, man. Sleeve the sleeves.
All right. So we're going to get into some numbers. This all originated in China, obviously.
Maybe.
Maybe. Yeah, maybe. So, because there's no patient zero, so we really don't know.
Yeah, they're saying, the wet markets and the bats and the bat soup and the pangolins and whatever, we went from a bat to a pangolin, but there's no patient zero. So that's a theory where it started, but you can't really confirm that until, patient zero
is found. Yeah, which we probably won't find.
Right. At this point, I think it's way too out of control to know who had it first.
Yeah. By the
They're
way,
either recovered or dead.
By the way, if you don't know what a pangolin is, you should definitely look it up. They are little armored, awesome animals.
Yeah, picture an armadillo, but maybe a little smaller and ball-like.
And cooler.
Yeah, probably cooler, too.
Yeah, way cooler armor.
Actually, we learned from Dave earlier when we were looking stuff up, there's actually an 80s toy modeled after a pangolin called Battle Beasts.
Yep, Battle Beasts.
One of the characters was a pangolin.
Yeah. So,
his name was Colonel Roger Patchouli Oil.
No.
Oh, well. It might have been.
It was a good try. It sucks that they gave him like pink, orangish armor.
Maybe it was a girl.
That's true. Could be a girl. Who am I?
It was 1980.
Who am I to judge people?
Tanglin Pangolin.
Tanglin Pangolin was his name?
The Tanglin Pangolin.
Tanglin Pangolin. I think that's a dude.
All right, yeah, that's probably a dude. You don't know, though. Maybe it's his long hair getting tangled up.
Oh, could be. Could be. All right.
Anyway, enough. We're getting way too foolish, way too quick.
That's all right. I love it. First of all, actually, we should say this is the Gathering of Fools. None of us are scientists or political people or geniuses. We're just going to give you some stats and kind of give you our take on it. And
geniuses, I think we could fall into the category.
I mean, we did just take Alpha Brain, so yeah.
My brain's feeling wild.
Yeah, I'm all over the.
Ask me a question.
Is it hot in here?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm going by the sleeves in your pants. Yes.
About to make this a belly shirt too.
Well, Dave's full crop top now. He had a long sleeve thermal on at the beginning of this. Now it's a short sleeve crop top.
I'm about to go Burt Kreischer in this bitch. I'm hot.
The machine. If you need to do that, I mean, that's fine. This will be the first shirtless podcast of 2020.
Oh, man. All right. Maybe we shouldn't have taken the Alpha Brain because, man, I'm all over.
Yeah. What do you want to talk about?
All right. So back to the coronavirus. First of all, even though we're having fun, it is serious.
Very serious.
All right. So November 17th is supposedly the first reported case. China now has 0 reported cases, which is great. But the actions they took to make that happen were... if we think what's happening in America right now is outlandish, you don't even want to know what China was doing.
Yeah.
China literally had testing points like on the roads, right? And then they were like taking you if your temperature was too high.
Right.
Not even if you had the rest of the symptoms. Your temperature was like 1 decimal over, and they just took you.
Where they were taking you, who knows? It's China now.
Right. Definitely to quarantine areas that you were not allowed to leave.
Yeah.
They also, I don't know, Carl, I don't know if you saw this. We can probably pull it up, but they have trucks that are just driving around and spraying shit into the air and onto the buildings.
Yeah, some sort of disinfectant, who knows?
Yeah.
Too, like when people are going into work too. Like
Oh, yeah, yeah. Like, honestly, guys, if you want to see why China was able to take care of this, for lack of a better term, so well, look at what they did to quarantine.
Serious quarantine.
It was serious. We're not even remotely there yet, and that's what China had to do to take care of this.
Yeah. I saw a video. There was a video of like a husband driving behind his wife, like she was walking to work because she was like quarantined. Like, he was just driving behind her to make sure she got there safe, and no one just like took her. Basically.
Right. Yeah, because the government was just taking people.
There's all kinds of reports. You got to remember, like China also, they kind of mishandled the initial reporting of this as well. They kind of downplayed it, minimized it, and then still like tried to. I lost the word now, but tried to they minimized the
numbers,
the seriousness.
Yeah,
of
they
it.
were trying to make sure they were trying to downplay it.
Right, and then by the time they actually did recognize how serious it was already spread and out of hand for people.
Yeah,
those second, third countries that had reported cases, they were not ready.
No. So if you look at their stats, they ended up with 81,000 infected, I believe. Hold on, what is this? We got something highlighted here. Li Wenliang, the ophthalmologist whose early warnings about the coronavirus earned him a reprimand from Chinese authorities, is finally receiving justice, albeit posthumously.
Yeah, he passed away, and they said it was from the coronavirus that he died from, but a lot of people are saying, it's China, so maybe they, he was the whistleblower.
Yeah, I'm not gonna even play into that. I just don't care about that at this point. Authorities in the country are apologizing to his family and dropping their reprimand 6 weeks after his death from the disease caused by the virus. Widely known as a whistleblower who spoke up about the outbreak in the city of Wuhan, China, the 34-year-old doctor was initially punished by local authorities. They said he was spreading rumors in early January after he tried to warn others about the emergence of the novel coronavirus that has now become a global pandemic.
The initial thing they tried to do was suppress everything and not warn the rest of the world, which would have been the responsible thing to do.
Which is hilarious because our government is actually doing the opposite, but Americans themselves are trying to downplay it.
Right. You gotta stop. We gotta stop. We have to listen because this is serious fucking shit.
Yeah. The Chinese government tried to downplay it. American citizens are trying to downplay it. The government's like, no, fucking listen.
The reason everything is getting boarded up and closing is because we didn't take it seriously as citizens in the first place. We could have stayed inside.
Oh, shit. You should look at those. China's spray trucks in tunnels may not prevent coronavirus. Who cares if they don't? At least it's something.
Yeah.
Because that looks like so futuristic.
Yeah, it's like basically like a big circular opening, a tunnel basically, and there's sprayers, periodically around the whole circle just spraying people off. Yeah. What are they even spraying these people with? It's fucking terrifying.
Look, and there's a guy just getting taken off the street.
Yeah.
Just taken right off the street. You guys really should Google this to see the actions they took. And I knew about this way back then.
Look at this dude just laying there.
Yeah, who knows? He could be dead. They could have just told him to lay down and go. I heard about people just falling out in the street. I don't know how true that is. But so they ended up with a total of 81,000 cases reported and tested. You have to understand, a lot of people probably didn't get tested.
Yeah, just had it, and a lot of people could be asymptomatic and carry it, and not even know it, and then not ever feel sick.
Yeah, and
which is the other scary part about it. Like, who has it? Who's carrying it? Who's passing it as we speak? Yeah. Basically. Even
with the crazy actions they took to quarantine people, I'll go back to that. They still had 3,255 deaths, which is actually a 4% death rate for the cases that they had.
81,000 total cases in China.
Yeah, they did have 71,000 recovered.
And they're saying now that there's no new cases. A couple days in a row at this point, there's been no new cases reported. But again, you have to look at the way they handled the information in the first place. And can we really believe the information they're giving us now?
Right.
Because they tried to suppress it and they tried to minimize it. And then when it was too late for neighboring countries is when they really took it serious. 6 weeks it took for that doctor to be unreprimanded.
Unreprimanded, yeah.
Whatever, that's not a word.
For them
but
to
you know
apologize, what I mean. Yeah.
And they're apologizing to his family because he died of coronavirus.
Right. And
so they say.
And who knows what would have happened if they would have taken him seriously from the beginning.
Right. I mean, it could have been like eradicated maybe.
Yeah, who knows? That's,
At least we could have got started on the things we're doing now.
Yeah.
A couple weeks earlier and been that much ahead of the curve.
Right. So then Italy, sometime in February, it looks like, they ended up getting their first cases, and they are at 53,000 cases, 4,800 deaths. So they are already, with way less cases, 1,000 more deaths than China.
Yeah, and they experienced, I think, a death toll of over 600 in 1 day recently.
Yeah.
Which is just crazy to even think about.
Now, there's two things with those.
New deaths, 793.
Yeah. New deaths. Yeah, new deaths in one day, I guess 793. And that is a 9% death rate for the coronavirus. And what we have to understand about Italy, because they didn't take it seriously, their death percentage number is going to keep rising because they don't have the means to test and treat everybody that's showing up with this virus.
Yeah, I saw some stats today on Italy. It was actually on ABC News this evening. The bodies are just piling up. Basically, incinerators are running 24 hours a day because there's no funerals. They're burning the bodies. That's what they have to do.
Yeah,
they're basically elderly people, 80 and up. They can't treat. They're not even trying at this point.
Yeah.
Well, and that's one heartbreaking thing I wanted to say that 13 doctors have died from it now in Italy.
Yeah, that's wild.
The people that are there working 12 hours.
Yeah.
And that's just kind of heartbreaking that the people there, they're sacrificing their lives to save people. I'm getting choked.
Yeah, no, it is. It's crazy.
Spain's in trouble too.
But so I want to hit this. So the thing is that they have to pick and choose people who they're going to treat now.
Yeah.
Because they don't have the resources to treat everybody.
That's an unprecedented thing.
That's unprecedented. And the thing about that is that means that the people that have pre-existing conditions and the elderly are not going to get treated. And they are the ones most susceptible to dying.
Right. Immunocompromised people, I think, is the new
So they're going to continue.
Fashionable word, immunocompromised.
So their death rate is just going to keep climbing probably fairly quickly. Because they have to do this, because they're going to take care of the people that are considered healthier. The same way they do with, like, organ donor lists.
Right.
Like, if you are towards the bottom of the list if you have these other health conditions or you're older.
Yeah.
Because they want to give it to people that
could accept a new organ and thrive from it as opposed to get a new organ and still have...
And still die in
get
the
a
next
kidney
5 to 10
transplant,
years.
but then you have COPD too.
Right,
Exactly.
like that. Yeah.
Which is crazy to think about.
But there's nothing you can do. America's going to do the same thing if it comes to that.
It would, sadly. Yeah.
There's
only so many doctors, and if 13 have died in Italy, how many more?
Right. Yeah.
So then if all the doctors die off, who's going to treat us?
Yeah. So
that's way down the road, and that's some tinfoil hat stuff. But if the doctors are passing away from it, they're working 12 hours a day. They can't rest. What you need is a rest and keep your immune system strong.
Yeah.
And they're going to compromise themselves trying to fight this.
Yeah.
But 13 have died. So
right. And then
where are we going from here?
Italy only has 6,000 recovered out of the 53,000.
Yeah. Not good numbers, but it is a long fight from what I understand. If you do have it, the numbers of recovery will come out way slower than the numbers of death. Because if it's a critical case that results in death, it'll happen faster than a recovery might.
Right. Now,
so that's important to remember, but it's still shocking numbers. No matter what.
And then what I've heard some people say is, well, that percentage isn't actually accurate because not everybody is getting tested. So some of the deaths that are happening in Italy there could be more people that have coronavirus that have recovered because they weren't never tested.
They weren't tested. They just fought it. They stayed home. They fought it just like any other flu. They did the immune stuff, took over-the-counter cough medicine, cold medicine, whatever it was. It's the same way you fight the flu, basically. That's what we know now.
Yeah. But if if you can say that that's true, then the opposite has to be true.
Right.
That there could be deaths happening in Italy that are caused by the coronavirus, but they weren't tested.
Exactly. Yeah.
So I'd say go ahead and call it even and look at the numbers.
Yeah. You just have to look at the numbers coming out and believe it, because they said there could be like hundreds of thousands more cases even in the United States that aren't confirmed because people haven't been tested, or they're walking around and don't know it yet because of the incubation period is 14 days. I think you could have it and not even show a symptom, possibly.
Well, and they're not going to test you unless you're really bad, because there's only so much of the materials to test people.
Right.
So
but even if you go to these free testing things and they don't test you, they'll still quarantine you for 14 days. I know somebody whose mother that went didn't get tested. They were like, no, we're not going to use a test on you because you're not that severe. Because you're not that severe, but you're quarantined for 14 days no matter what. Yeah. Because you came here and thought you showed a symptom. But they didn't, even though they didn't test, still quarantined.
Right. Which is smart.
It is smart. It's crazy though.
Yeah. It's I mean, we've never lived in a world like this as long as I've been alive.
No. Definitely not.
Actually, I don't think we've lived in a world like this since 1918, the Spanish flu.
Well, 2009, there was a bad flu pandemic. Well, I mean, I don't even know if it was classified as a pandemic, but only 18,000 people died, and not a lot in America.
Yeah.
Not trying to downplay it. That's a lot of people, and that's a lot of deaths from one thing.
Right. But have we surpassed that already?
Yes.
And this has just started?
Right.
Just started.
Very, very young still.
Yeah. So
that was the H1N1. 2009 was H1N1.
Yeah. Now, I want to clarify the reason Italy is having this issue is because they did not take it seriously enough from the beginning.
Right.
Not just the people, but the government.
The government.
They didn't take any precautions. They didn't close shit down. They just tried to live life as normal and told people, hey, be careful.
Right.
And you can tell by Italy that did not work.
That didn't work. And I think a lot of that would kind of contributes back to China, because of the way they tried to suppress the information and didn't want to let it get out. Because if they would have said in week 1, they could have said, like, this is serious, take it serious. And maybe the neighboring countries, Italy's not too far away geographically, like hundreds of miles.
Right, but it's still land-based.
Yeah,
it's land-based miles,
you know.
Definitely. Yeah, so flying restrictions weren't going to stop it.
The other thing that America, I guess I would call it an advantage against a pandemic, has that Italy and China don't have is the population dispersion, maybe you could call it. Cities in Italy and China are packed tight. Right. They don't build out, they build up. Italy doesn't have the room. China does it for a different reason, as far as I've understood and read into. But everyone's in these main areas. Like, China's huge. A lot of that land, there's no people.
Right.
America, I said this last week, like, this is a benefit of living in small town America. Like, it hasn't hit us too hard yet because there's space there, because there's farmland, because we have space like that. Not everyone's packed in tight. That's why the hot spots, New York City, California, Seattle, Washington, big cities.
Right, big cities with high population density.
Population density. That's about, what did I call it? Something stupid. But that's the better term for it. But China, look at the China population in their cities, and as opposed to like the area they encompass. In Italy, they don't really have the choice. There's a lot of farmland in Italy, don't get me wrong, but a lot of their cities are so packed and they build up and they don't build out.
Right.
China and Italy both. So, that's one thing that maybe America has an advantage.
New York definitely does build up, though.
Yeah, New York builds up. California is another hotspot. Seattle, like these big cities. Ohio, I guess you could call it a hotspot. We have 3 major cities.
Right.
Which is more than a lot of states. Like, even like West Virginia. What's a major city in West Virginia?
Yeah.
Morgantown. Yeah. Charleston. Charleston's small. It's the capital.
Yeah, there's not a ton of big cities there.
But like, the space is really gonna save us, I think, in the long run. Hopefully,
if Americans stay smart about it.
Yeah, that's why you have to stay smart about it.
The problem we're having here is, again, Italy's government didn't take it seriously. Our government is taking it seriously, but the American people aren't taking it seriously.
Right. The American people, they have their opinions. They think like people, like conservative people might be thinking, oh, this is just a hoax to make Trump look bad or whatever. Yeah. But Trump is going to handle it how he's going to handle it. And it's in our best interest to listen. He's not like he's getting advice from people that have an agenda.
They could have an agenda. But I think
could.
agendas are probably put aside in this scenario.
For the most part, I think so. Did you see that that video when Trump literally referenced the deep state defense on the mic, and that doctor,
the doctor in the
main
background,
doctor, he just puts his head in his hands like, what the fuck?
Yeah, like Jesus Christ.
Like he literally referenced it, like the thing we're not supposed to know about.
Yeah,
the thing that's a conspiracy, the deep state.
Yeah,
he referenced it in an interview on mic, and the doctor just puts his head in his hands. Like,
it's just crazy,
bro.
And even our federal government isn't taking it as seriously as even like some of our local governments.
True. I mean, DeWine, he's catching a lot of flack, but he was the first. He was ahead of it. He said no.
Yeah.
Bars and restaurants are closed. Takeout, okay.
Yeah.
Figure it out. They're closed.
And it's crazy to me that people want to get so upset about it. Like, so before people want to get so upset about the fact that he's doing that, we actually have a chart up here that compares us to Italy. So,
and, I have one that compares it to Louisiana too, but we'll talk about that after.
Yeah, we'll get that after Italy.
That's on a state level. This is a nation level here.
So we are basically just 10 days. Is it 10 days behind Italy?
Yeah, about that.
That's the number I've been hearing. We're 10 days behind Italy in our
7. It looks like 8 days.
Okay, so we're 8 days behind Italy.
February 22nd to March 2nd, whatever that is the chart we're looking at. Italy had 155 cases on February 2-3. March 2nd, we had 101. So that's day one of our comparison here.
Yeah. So day one, 101. Okay.
So on the bottom, actually, it says the day each country reported its 100th case. So March 2nd, we had 100. Italy had 155. February 23rd. So extrapolate that. You guys got to use your brains too, because ours are only so powerful.
Yeah.
Remember, we're just here talking shit. This is the gathering of fools, not the gathering of military doctors.
Yeah. So February 23rd, March 2nd, we are way too close to them for how we should be, since they got it so far ahead of us.
We're basically 10 days behind and 54 cases behind on March 2nd.
Yeah.
On the 18th day, we overtook them.
By the 18th day, we overtook Italy.
Yeah.
We now are by the 18th day, we had almost. It looks like we probably had about 14,000 cases. They probably have between 12 and 13,000 cases.
Yeah. Right.
And if we look at that, we're just going to keep outgrowing them exponentially unless we take the proper actions. And Italy is in a bad spot. So if we overtook them by day 18, that's crazy.
That's
so
crazy.
So pay attention to that. That's just really soak that in. That means that by day 18, we were worse than them at day 28.
Yeah.
That's insane.
So crazy.
So
again, we do have more people than Italy, but
right, we do have more people, but that's still
so like all that
scary.
factors in, but still, it's crazy to think about.
Yeah. So for the people that went to Florida and partied because they said if I get corona, I get corona, knock it off.
Yeah.
To the dude walking around the store, I don't know if you guys saw the video I posted, but there's a guy walking around the store who said he is tested positive for corona, but his symptoms aren't that bad yet. His throat's a little scratchy. And he's walking around the store saying, if I got it, you fuckers are going to get it.
Yeah, what a fucking dickhead.
What is the matter with you?
That was in Raleigh, North Carolina, I think. And he's just walking around with his neck tats and his flat bill.
Yeah.
And he got arrested, but, I mean, he exposed how many people being out there, and then the police that had to touch him.
Yeah. Like, that's going to be the problem, guys. Like, you guys are complaining about people getting quarantined and people and them closing bars and restaurants. But these are the people that are out there. This is what will happen. And fortunately, in the United States, I feel like we'll have more cases of that than any other country.
Yeah, that's potentially down the road. Yeah, we could have more cases than any other country.
Because I'm just saying, not more cases, but more people like that.
Yeah,
I really do. Because we're a proud people, which I do love us for that, and we are. You're not going to quarantine me, like
right?
No,
yeah. You're not going to take my rights and quarantine me and tell me I have to stay somewhere.
Yeah.
I mean.
Even if it's good for you, you're not going to care about that, which is silly. If it's good for you, follow it. Like, this could get ugly. So please, just listen.
Yeah, I mean...
Common sense.
Yeah.
Common sense. You have to realize now that this is no longer just some ploy by anybody or anything. You should have noticed that as soon as they closed every goddamn sport.
Right. Yeah, when every major sport league shut down and said, no, we have positive people testing and exposing 20s of thousands of people. Like, how many people are in an arena a night? NBA game, 20,000. NHL, 20-some thousand.
Yeah.
UFC event, 20. Even though they were pretty hard-headed about it, 20-some thousand.
Yeah.
Every sport event canceled. MLB, they put everything on hold. Their season should have started by now.
PGA, you figure they could do it with no fans because, then there's
golf.
2 golfers.
How many fans are there?
Yeah. And they still canceled theirs. And they would not be willing to lose all that money. March Madness alone is billions of dollars.
And on a personal level, like all those seniors, all those kids that don't get to have that experience, they took that from them. But you have to realize that at what cost would you let it go on?
Right. So, stop thinking it's a plot by Democrats.
It's not.
Also, people that were trying to take advantage of the situation and stocking up on toilet paper and hand sanitizer and ramping up the prices and selling it on Amazon and eBay, knock it off.
So foolish.
Man, I got
so crazy.
I got a scratch in my throat. I can't get rid of.
I'm about to stand about 2 feet away from him, 2 feet more away than I am right now because he's just hacking up along. The fan's blowing. It's just spreading it around.
I just got this scratch in my throat I can't get rid of.
That's what that guy on the Raleigh video said.
Man. So they but don't take advantage of people like that. And I'm glad Amazon shut you down. And I laugh when I see you on the New York Times crying about how you're stuck with all this stuff and you can't get rid of it. Good.
Yeah.
Like,
why'd you do that?
Did you expect people to feel sorry for you that you were selling $5 bottles of hand sanitizer for $90 online? Right. What's the matter with you?
Why would you do such a thing? Price gouging it's not a time for that.
No.
Okay. You're taking advantage of every single American. When we really need to come together to beat this is what it's going to take.
Right. That's exactly it. So we did want to compare to, because we got a lot of people complaining about Governor DeWine and the actions he's taken. So we wanted to compare. We saw this thing and compared Ohio to Louisiana.
Yeah, and okay, so here it is. Ohio and Louisiana had announced their first confirmed case of COVID-19 on the same day. Louisiana has 347 cases.
No, hold on. We got more updated.
Yeah,
stats.
this is a little bit behind actually. Louisiana has 763 cases at this point and 20 deaths.
Yeah,
and Ohio has 247 with 3 confirmed deaths.
And we have also a much higher population.
Ohio's population is 11.6 million. Louisiana is 4.6. And Mike DeWine acted swiftly. And what he did, he caught a lot of flack. Small business owners, you're in a tough place. You really are.
I'm in a tough place.
Yeah.
I'm out of work. I have no money. I had no money saved up. I'm a bartender.
It's all a trickle down. It really is. But look at our population versus the cases and the deaths we have. Like, he acted swiftly and he acted in a manner that really saved a lot of lives. It looks like.
Yeah.
By the numbers, it looks like.
If you look at those numbers, so again, they have less population, so you would think that they would have less spreading and less cases. But if we look at the numbers again, we have 3 deaths, they have 20, and the confirmed cases are Ohio has 247 and Louisiana has 763.
Yeah. Crazy.
Thank you, Governor DeWine.
Yeah. That's he deserves a lot of commendation, I guess would be the word for it. He needs commended for his actions instead of people can't take shots at him at this point. Listen to him. He's really helping everyone.
He's really staying on top of it. And for those people who say, well, who is he to tell us that we can't go to work or that we can't do this or we can't do that? You want to know who he is? He's the guy that you elected.
Yeah.
And he's trying everything he can to keep the economy moving.
He's trying everything he can to keep the economy moving. Don't just look at that. Actually look into what he's doing. He's doing the best that he possibly can. And again, who he is he's the guy you elected. He's the guy you elected for when situations like this happen to be in charge.
Yeah.
Like if you don't like that, start thinking about that when you cast your vote. Like what would this guy do in a bad situation?
Right.
So we elected him. I think he's doing a great job.
Yeah, he's doing what he can, and he from the numbers are dictating that he's saving a lot of lives, and we have way more people than the state we're comparing it to. So
yeah, double the amount of people.
Yeah,
almost triple,
and not even
not even half the cases,
Not
even close to half.
Not even, maybe a third of the cases.
Yeah, and
Deaths is the big one.
Yeah,
and the deaths is drastically
the deaths
lower.
is drastic. 17 less deaths out of the confirmed cases. Crazy.
yeah, that's insane. So again, thank you, Governor DeWine.
Yes, good on you, Governor DeWine. One lighter note about Governor DeWine: if you have seen his videos, his live videos, in the sign language interpreter he has, just looks like him in drag. They look
Really?
exactly the same.
And the other
It looks
thing,
like him in a wig.
and actually, the other thing with Governor DeWine, if there was anybody that actually deserved the name Poindexter, it's probably Governor
It's him.
DeWine.
Look at them next to each other there. Right in that picture, yeah. Look at them next
That's
to each other.
hilarious.
They look
Holy
exactly the
shit.
same. That's him. That's his twin sister.
That's
it
exactly the
has
same.
to be.
You should definitely look this up. Oh my God, that is hilarious.
Yeah, so-
she's very animated with her face too, huh?
Well, she's getting her message out, the same as him.
Look at click on that next one right next to it.
Oh, that looks like something different.
That
but
looks suspect.
you guys just Google it at home. Mike DeWine and his sign language interpreter look like twins, and they could be. I don't know her name. She might be his twin for real.
I don't know shit about her.
She looks like a nice lady.
They do look exactly alike. That's actually crazy. Definitely
Yeah.
look that up. DeWine sign language interpreter twin.
Yeah,
Try that. That'll
Definitely.
probably work.
definitely. They're twins for sure.
So now for the people that are
Pardon me.
complaining about everything that is happening with things closing and how am I going to work and how am I going to do this? The question I asked myself when this first started happening, when I lost my job and realized that I had no money really put back, and actually had just spent a bunch of money for stuff for this podcast studio.
Keep it running, people.
Yeah.
Keep it running.
What I had to ask myself when I started thinking about it and worrying about, like, well, what am I going to do? Like, what the fuck? How am I not going to be able to work? I don't understand what's going on. The question is, who the fuck am I? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, who am I that I can't sacrifice if it means saving lives?
Right. And you have to think about that on like the smallest level possible. One person, like who am I? Like if I stay in and I don't go to work and I don't do this, I'm not going to give it to this person. I'm not going to spread it to my parents and grandparents and children and the whole community.
Right.
Stay inside.
So, like, who am I that if I can just save a couple of lives by my work being closed down and me not having some of the nicer things that I have, or even if it gets to the point where I end up losing the car that I pay way too much for, if that saves lives, who the fuck am I to be mad about that?
Yeah.
That is fucking crazy.
So crazy.
I don't care if it saves a bunch of lives. Great. I don't care what demographic it is. I don't care if it's old people. I don't care if it's sick people that have pre-existing conditions.
Yeah.
If it saves just a small amount of people, great.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Saving a life should weigh a lot on everyone's conscience. No
What-
matter what the situation is. Like if you could do something to save someone,
Right.
wouldn't you do it?
Yeah. What makes me so important that I can't struggle financially in order for people to keep breathing,
To stay alive.
to stay alive? That's what I think you have to ask yourself. I mean, if you're not willing to make sacrifices financially in order to save lives, then I just think you need to reevaluate yourself as a person.
Right. It all comes down to, at what cost, and, to save a life, like what does that mean to you? Like someone else, it could be a stranger, but do they deserve to die for me to eat?
Well, and that's
I don't know. We're not at that point yet.
Yeah, and that's my other thing is, what if it was one of your family members that ends up catching this?
Yeah.
Now, are you going to think the same way?
Yeah.
Or are you going to think, man, I wish I would have been happy with those sacrifices. I wish I would have, like, if your grandma, God forbid, anybody's grandma, anybody's grandpa caught it and passed away, are you still going to think that same way?
Right.
You know what I mean? No, you're probably going to be like, man, we should have made more sacrifices.
Yeah. What could?
Now,
too little, too late. Like,
yeah.
People always ask themselves, what could I have done?
Yeah.
What could I have done to make this better? What could I have done to not,
Right.
save these people?
And what's crazy to me is some of the people that I see making this argument, like, oh, who's he to, shut down bars and blah, 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 are people that still have their jobs. So you know what? If you want to do something about it, help those people.
Yeah. There's a lot of people that are going to need it.
Yeah.
Especially if this keeps going. Like, if we don't get it on top of it, people are going to need some help.
Yeah.
Whatever it is, support small business, support your local whoever, your friends, your family, like whoever needs it.
Yeah.
It's going, like, we're going to need to have a strong community.
We're going to have
basically.
we're going to have to remember what the fuck community is.
That's true.
Because we don't do community anymore.
No, definitely not.
And it's literally, if this would have happened in the 70s or the 80s, literally 60s, I'd say probably late 90s is when we stopped really having communities.
Yeah.
But back in the day, the neighborhoods would have taken care of each other.
Right.
There would have been a family on your block or in your neighborhood that you realize lost their job, and people would have been taking them food. Mm-hmm. People would have been taking them baked dishes. Right. It used to happen all the time in churches, just when people had like a heart attack.
Yeah, like a hardship of some sort.
Right.
And it still it still happens on a smaller level. I think
much smaller scale.
Like a funeral, people always get like they're overwhelmed with food because people are bringing them food.
Right.
Like a loved one dies. Like things like that still happen. So I don't want to downplay things like that. But
it doesn't happen
the
as much.
sense of community, like you're absolutely right. Like and it's because of it attributes to a lot of things. But think of all the things that we have now to distance ourselves from people.
Yeah, it's supposed to bring us closer together, but social media does not bring us closer together.
No,
it distances us.
Think of all the friends you have that like, oh, I know what's going on in their lives because I saw this, I saw that. They posted this, they posted that, and you think you're involved, but it's only because you're seeing it. You're not reaching out. You're not calling your friends.
Right. No.
You're not calling your neighbor. Yeah. I don't know my neighbor's fucking name.
That's just what I was going to say to you. You can't say that it still happens, but on a much smaller scale. It is almost non-existent because people used to know their neighbors.
Yeah.
Do you know any of your neighbors?
I barely know them by name. I know the people across the street. That's about it.
Yeah.
And I don't even know their names, but I talk to them a while.
Yeah. But other than that, nobody, right?
No.
I just met
my
neighbor to my left, 2 doors down. I don't even know the one that's right next to me.
Yeah.
2 doors down, I just met the other day because Ghost goes there every day. But we've both lived here for a long time. I just met her for the first time.
Yeah. And there are neighborhoods that are a little bit different. Like my girlfriend's mom's neighborhood, like they're still pretty close, but it's few and far between. It's like a house across the street, they're good friends, and like a couple houses down the door, they're good friends, and they take care of each other in similar scenarios when things like that happen. But not for younger people, not for me, not for most people.
I challenge people, younger people, older people, to start checking on your neighbors.
Yeah.
Find out who in your neighborhood needs help. And if you have the ability to help them in any way, try to help them.
Yeah. I know we're not supposed to go near people, stay 6 feet away, but just like if you see them outside, holler. Like, hey, you over there.
Right. You don't have to get...
You guys doing okay?
You don't have to get real close to people to talk to them. And if you're one of these people that are, especially if you are still working and you're complaining about the fact that these other people are losing their jobs, do something to help them.
Yeah. Check on them.
Do something and I want to give you the perfect example. Actually, yesterday, I got a text from Justin Blanton, who's sitting right across from me.
Hello,
and it said,
"It's me.
Ahoy, mate! Let me know if you need anything, bro. Like anything at all. I know these strange times probably left you unemployed for the time being. That shit sucks. Big old dicks." Stupid ass Roni virus.
Yeah, this stupid ass Roni virus leaving my friend without a job. Yeah, I mean it should make you feel that way. And like I know you're okay. You have food here. You have water here. Like you're on that level, you're fine. But
I spent all my money on food and stuff. That way,
nothing's coming in.
That way, the bill people couldn't take it.
Yeah,
like I'm not paying bills.
No, those people are just gonna have to chill. Those people are just gonna have to chill the fuck out.
Yeah,
basically.
I literally have a bill company calling me every day, multiple times a day. And it's not it's still an active bill, like it hasn't gone into collections.
Yeah,
and they're calling me every day wanting to know when I'm gonna make the payment.
When I get a fucking job back.
Right. I don't know, man. Hey, are you hiring?
Yeah. You need someone? I'll call people like you're doing to me.
Right. Like, listen, man, I'm out of work. Yeah. I don't know what you want me to fucking tell you.
Right. Go ahead. You gonna shut my lights off in the pandemic?
Yeah, this is actually the loan that I got for the stuff in the podcast studio. Like,
support your podcast.
Like, hey man, I don't know what you want me to tell you. I don't have a job, and I spent the money I did have on food because I don't know how long this is gonna last.
Right.
So,
I
mean, I didn't go crazy. I didn't go buy a year's worth of food, but I bought some food.
But you got to realize a lot of people
like $200.
A lot of people
they want my money.
The way the money comes into the service industry, it's hard for people to have savings. Like it's a day-to-day basis.
Yeah,
maybe a good day is a good day, and maybe you'll put some money aside. But it's crazy.
Yeah, if this continues, but again, my big point on this is we got to remember what communities are, and we got to take care of our friends and family, and then our immediate neighborhoods.
Yeah, you got to reach out to people too. Like I know there's been a lot of support small business stuff. I've seen all kinds of stuff, and that's great. But I think it needs to happen on an even more personal level. I think it needs to be more.
Yeah, I just if
because people are going to struggle.
If this continues, the only way that any area, including this area, is going to get through it is by their community.
Yeah,
and people remembering what their community means and what it is, and help take care of each other.
Yeah. So be kind to each other, no matter who you see out.
If you
stay far away if you need to, but
if you got extra food and you see a family with kids suffering, figure out something to make for them, even if it's small, so they have a little bit to eat.
It could be one covered dish.
Yeah, figure something out. It could be a small covered dish
in the week.
And if everybody in the neighborhood does that, then everybody's going to be okay.
Yeah, but
everybody has to pitch in.
Definitely.
That's it.
We got to take care of each other. These are strange times. Like I said to you, these are strange times.
Yeah,
very strange.
And check on your friends, like Justin did. We just got to check on each other. Luckily, our group of friends, we all talk to each other fairly often.
Yeah.
So Brian just walked in and handed me $20. Said, "Here, you broke bitch."
It's Carl.
They still didn't know it was him.
Carl's a good guy.
Yeah. So
everyone's being affected. Absolutely everyone.
So get off Governor DeWine. He's doing the best he can. He has prevented us from having as big of an outbreak as we probably would have.
Yeah.
And you can see that in real time by looking at Louisiana.
Looking at another state.
Look at even 8 days ago, 13 cases. Now it's 257.
Yeah, Ohio, 8 days ago, 13 cases.
Yeah, that's crazy. 13 cases 8 days ago, now 257. Get it together, guys.
Yeah. Again, the testing has become more rapid and more available, but there's still a shortage, like I said. Even if you go there and they're like, might not use a test on you, but they're still going to quarantine you, which you have to accept. Like, just stay home. You might have it.
Right.
They just didn't test you for it.
But also, there was a scientist on the Joe Rogan that specializes in this. He works with the CDC, and he said the biggest problem with this is how fast it spreads. So literally every 2 weeks, it doubles.
Yeah.
If you don't take the proper steps.
Right. That's exponential growth. That's
exponential.
That's hard to get in front of if you wait too long.
Right. Doesn't sound crazy when it's like 20 and then 2 weeks later it's 40. But how about when it's 20,000 and 2 weeks later it's 40,000?
Yep. Absolutely.
So come on, people.
Out of control.
Yeah.
It could get out of control.
Now, the last thing I really want to get into with this is I know everybody is stressing out. And like even my mom, she called the other day. She's like, "Have you found a job yet?" Because we're trying to, work together to make sure everybody's okay. Because her business is nobody's buying anything right now.
Yeah, her business is suffering just like any other small business. It's going to be a hard time.
Yeah, nobody's buying anything.
There's people. If people have to get shut down for too long, some small businesses might not be able to reopen. Is another thing.
Correct. Yeah.
Like you might not. It might take too much money to reopen your business if it's too long, if you're shut down for too long, which I think the government is going to try to give you assistance, but who knows how far that's going to go.
Right.
Who knows how much there really is along that level. And if they're printing money to send to people, then there's less in the reserve. If they're just printing money,
right,
the money's going to be worth less. The economy is still going to take a hit.
Right. Well, the good thing is I don't think people will raise prices on us during this time, but after it's over, I think it will happen.
It could happen.
Yeah.
And
I think after it's over, it will happen because the money's worth less.
Yeah, because the money will be worth less, but things will cost more. That's just kind of how it goes.
That's just how it works.
Yeah.
But so she was stressed out, so she's asking me about my job hunt and this and that because, we're going to work together at this point in time.
Yeah, you got to.
And I told her, like, listen, you can't stress. There's literally nothing we can do. Like, I'm hunting for a job, but there's nothing we can do about what is happening. Right. All we can do is follow the rules that are laid out in front of us, try to find the best government programs because the government is trying to create programs for people so that they can relieve some of that financial stress.
Right.
So find the government programs that you can, and just go with it, because there's nothing else you can do. So my thing with it is, don't stress about what you cannot control. Shine and take solace in what you can control.
Yeah.
Don't lose your mind. There's nothing you can do.
Yeah.
So just keep moving forward.
Buying all the toilet paper. You know how long a roll of toilet paper lasts a person?
Yeah.
Over 14 days. One roll, one
Right.
person, over 14 days for toilet paper.
Unless you have IBS, maybe we understand.
Okay, like it depends. You could have IBS and not shit a lot. You could have IBS and shit way too much.
Right. All right. Well, we're going to take a small break, and then we're going to come back with more fun and less dramatics.
Yeah.
Oh, right. And we're back. We took a longer break than expected, and that's because Momma Hammer decided to show up in the studio, and Justin just about died.
Really, Justin, it wasn't that exciting.
You got the roadie.
I'm so excited.
I do think my mom may have had a few glasses of wine before she came over.
No, absolutely not.
You are a liar.
You brought an empty bottle.
No, it wasn't empty when I got here.
Well, there you go. Proof's in the pudding.
So we said we weren't going to talk about Corona when we came back. There are a couple of things I want to hit just because I want to throw a shout out to Capital One, because I was talking to a friend of mine, Sabrina Isaac, and she is somebody who's been laid off because of restaurants and bars being closed down. And she said she was nervous about her car payment, so she called Capital One, and they said, nope, we understand. You don't have to make any payments till June as of right now. And she said, well, is that going to like collect interest? Am I going to be behind? And she goes, no, nothing is going to move until June. And I think that's amazing.
Yeah,
That is great.
I hope that holds true, and it sounds like she's asking all the right questions, so she's really covering herself. And
Right.
I really hope they follow through on that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how you can back up on that.
Yeah.
Now, in comparison, I then tried to call GM Financial, and
Listen up, boys.
they only had one message. There was no options like hit 1 for this, 2 for this. There was just one message that said, just go to the online messaging. So I went to the online messaging, and it was like, can't make payments. And it came back and it said, let me just pull this up actually.
A lot of people are going to that like customer service, like you don't even call in anymore. They're like, you just message the online message. I had a issue with my Spotify account.
Yeah.
Like, I got on Spotify one day and there was all this stuff I would never listen to. I've never even heard of. I couldn't even tell you the genre of music, the things that showed up on my Spotify. And I called and it was like, hey, this is happening. And they were like,
We're just waving late.
message our customer support or whatever, and go on. You have to go online and do the messaging, and I did that, and they looked at it and said like, your account was compromised, blah blah blah. People did all this, took songs, whatever. It wasn't that big a deal. Like they didn't steal my shit,
Right.
Like
Right.
my real personal shit. So they just reset my account and got it fixed. But it's crazy that all that is switching to like a chat room basically, and
Yeah.
it's not like customer service is barely even a phone call anymore.
And it's not even, most of the time, it's still not even a person that's typing back to you. It's still a machine that's typing back to
in
you.
in a lot of cases.
And that's actually what I want to go over here. So I typed can't make payments, and
really,
Nancy
really laid it down.
yeah, Nancy, who's not, because I realized that I typed something else first, and I realized this is a computer, so I just got to make it basic. So Nancy, who's not a real person, responded with, we understand that you need additional time to make your payment during the COVID-19 situation, so we will waive late fees on payments due March 1st through April 30th. If you can pay within 30 days of the original due date, if you can make payment before your next payment is due, there is no need to contact us again about late fees. We'll take care of the rest. If you are not able to make payment before your next payment is due, we will be here to discuss options with you. We highly recommend your payments from. We highly recommend you making your payments from my account website or the GM Financial mobile app, where you can check due dates, payment posting status, and more 24/7. So I responded with, "Okay, let's discuss options." My apologies. I do not understand your question. I'm still learning. Do you mind rephrasing your question or issues so I can try again?
How do you
Fuck you, GM Financial.
That ain't shit. Seriously, that like what?
Waiving late fees? Thanks. I'm saying I'm not.
The payment ain't coming.
Ain't coming. It's not gonna be late. It ain't coming.
It's not coming at all.
It might come in June or July.
That's what I was trying to say before. We kind of touched on it a little bit. Like people like that, you're gonna have to chill because people can't make those payments.
And I will say, like, I got
You got to make sure you stay.
Okay, I got an email today from workers' comp from the state of Ohio, and they're like, we're waiving fees, we're waiving payments.
Nice.
Like,
Till June 1st.
till June 1st. So, yeah. So, I mean, a lot of people are really working with you.
Right. Just GM
so
Financial is
I'm
not
just
one
sorry
of them.
to hear that.
Shout out to GM Financial, but like in the bad kind of way.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, hey,
absolutely.
get your shit together.
So like good on all those multi-million corporations that are like the one you like Capital One you talked about. Like good on them for really
Absolutely.
on a level like taking care of the smallest people.
She said they didn't even ask her questions or nothing.
Yeah,
they were just like, "Yep, you're
honestly,
good."
that's great to hear because everyone talks about these big corporations and all the greed and all the things like that. And the fact that they are taking care of her like that, that's just one case. So who knows what people are going through? But in one case, they are really reaching out and like doing the most for her. So that's great
good
to hear.
Yeah,
Very good to hear.
Yeah, it definitely is. Did you say there was something you wanted to touch on before we got off the subject?
I don't remember.
Was it about schools?
Oh yeah.
Was it about dating?
No, no. Tammy really wants to touch on it. The thing about schools to remember is like, school was like a safe place for a lot of kids, and now that it's canceled and like they're like maybe not in like directly connected to like the school systems, us like schools, Tomball City schools, things like that, but like maybe down the river a little ways, like there are homes without like running water, and like school was like a safe place for these children, and we need to remember that. And like what we talked about, community, like those are the really help people. Like I heard of like some schools are like still like keeping their lunches open,
right?
Which is great.
To feed the kids. Yeah, that's a great thing, and like
because a lot of kids, that's the only place they're getting their food.
Yeah, school is a safe place for a lot of children across the country, and now that it's canceled for the year in most places, like like they haven't come out and said that completely in a lot of districts, but
you can pretty much
read the writings on the wall. Basically, like life is put on
hold. But a
hold.
lot of them are still offering meals.
Yeah,
I noticed that Steubenville City Schools is also delivering some meals
I didn't know
to
that.
some of the
That's
students.
cool.
Crystal Wicker and Jackie Farley Hines the other day were out delivering some meals.
Yeah, that's great. And I saw somewhere they just the Big Red Booster Club just posted that the football team is offering pickup of groceries, and they'll bring groceries to your home.
That's great.
In between, there was a certain date, like you have to call and sign up, like call the booster office and sign up. But like the football players are gonna take their time and like deliver your groceries, meals, whatever it may be. They'll bring it to you.
Well, and then I saw today the volleyball team went out and delivered some cookies and some treats to some of our first responders, and the hospitals, the police, the fire department. Then their little note was cute. It said, "Hey, we've washed our hands, we've done this, we've done that, but we wanted to make sure you had some things."
Yeah.
So it was great to see that they were appreciating that.
Well, and that's the kind of things that are going to happen, but we have to do it. You still have to that's great doing that for the first responders. The first responders still have a lot. I much appreciate the first responders. This is not a knock against the first responders whatsoever, but they still have access to a lot of things. They're also going to still be working.
Yeah.
I think
but there's going to be a lot of things they're short of, and they're going to miss some family time, which is important too.
I understand that, but I think what you need to look at is people like Donna Kagler and George, because
which I have been taking meals to.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
because those are older people, so they're more susceptible. They shouldn't really go anywhere. Right. So we should honestly be checking on people like that and say like, hey, can I go get groceries for you? Which the football team is doing.
Which I have done with several, but I think we need to remember, David, that you and I have two that are on the front line, that are sacrificing some family time and
I'm not saying anything negative against it. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying anything negative against it, but I'm saying there are people that are truly stuck that can't go anywhere. I'm not saying.
I cooked today for several.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think you should do stuff for them, but there are people who are literally should be quarantined to their house and stuck there. So just check on those people is what I'm saying.
Right. Absolutely.
But yeah, my brother obviously is an ER doctor, so he's going to be susceptible to a lot of shit.
He's a doctor.
He's not a doctor.
He is a nurse in the ER.
He's a nurse.
And then Hannah.
I'll call him a doctor, Dr. Hammer.
Then Hannah is the director of nursing for the Jefferson County Health Department, so she's really really been a lot going on.
Yeah, luckily for her, she probably won't have to deal with too many of the sick people. She's just going to be helping with policy and enforcing policy
and information.
And information. The
Yeah.
information part is
probably
huge.
the biggest thing, like making sure people are well informed.
Well,
and
yeah,
getting
and
the
just
right advice.
getting emergency plans together, and
which is
so
massive.
she's really busy. She's really and she's new into this position.
Yeah, what
she's
a time for her to walk into it.
Yeah, she's,
and she's
probably
one of
the youngest
Yeah.
director of nursing in the state of Ohio for that department. But she's loving it, and that is her first degree is public health.
Yeah, public health is probably one of the most important things right now, honestly, to make sure people are well informed and well aware and what's going on and how at risk you really are.
Right.
Yeah.
So good for her and more power to her.
Yeah, without a doubt. All right, so let's jump off it for a little while. I wanted to get into a couple of things.
Is it your mom dating?
Do we miss dating?
No.
Do we talk about how Corona is affecting people's dating life? Come on, David.
We just talked for 20 minutes about your dating life before we got on air. I'm not.
Can we
going
not talk about it on air?
No,
because I'm sure it's not just my dating life. It has affected other.
It's affecting everyone.
This is not. What's that, Dr. Nancy?
Silver lining.
This is
All this.
This is not whatever those things that you write into and talk to about your dating life. This isn't Hotline.
What's her name? Dr. Ruth or something?
Yeah, Dr. Ruth or something like that. It's not what this is.
Oh, he just doesn't want to talk about it because it's me.
I've been fully supportive of your dating life.
That is true. True.
But what I did want to get into, and I don't care if people have watched it or not because it's been over now for a while, so we're going to get into it. Did you guys both finish Outsider?
No.
You didn't finish Outsider?
No, I don't know what happened. But you can talk about it. It's okay.
Oh man,
I don't know. There was like a slow episode and it just fell off for me, and
it fall off.
Man, it got so good.
I know, and I want to catch back up, and I've said it.
Towards the end.
There was like maybe one slow episode.
Yeah, that's where I felt. I know. You judge me, man. Go ahead. I'll take.
Oh, I haven't watched this.
But
yet.
it's okay. It's okay. You can.
It'd probably
say what
creep you
will.
out.
It's
okay.
okay.
Not my thing.
No, probably.
Okay.
It is creepy. It's definitely creepy. It's,
I don't
it's
do
Stephen
creepy.
King.
It's
It's actually relatively new, based on a novel that came out really recently.
Yeah,
actually,
pretty recently.
Like 2017, 2018 is
Yeah,
what it's based off of. They adapted it from.
Yeah.
I don't do scary. I don't do.
It is creepy.
Creepy, not my thing.
It's not
Give
really
me a good old love story.
No, we know.
It's not really scary. It's not really scary to the point like where it's just creepy.
But no, I feel guilty about it that you want to talk about it because I fucked it all up.
Well, no, it's fine. I mean, it ended up being amazing. And even though it's too slow.
Did you see the end?
Oh yeah.
She scratched.
Yep. Yeah. There's two slow episodes maybe,
That's
even
where I fell off.
But even those, there's so much information in there,
Right.
so I didn't really. For me, it wasn't slow. I'm like, man, I'm learning about.
I think
this.
I let some other things overtake it. Some priorities got shifted. I started watching.
I mean, it is this time.
It's true. Like there's all kinds of stuff out right now. They're releasing things early because people are stuck inside. I watched Frozen. I watched Frozen 2 the other day.
Well, and what else is coming out? There's a couple others that are coming out, like on.
I think Birds of Prey is coming out real early.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and there was something else I just saw that's coming out.
That cartoon Onward that just came out, like released
on
theaters.
Disney.
It's coming out on Disney Plus the beginning of April.
But something else is coming out on Vudu that it just came out, and on Amazon Prime that like just came out. I don't remember what it's called.
It must be something else brand new because they're
and
switching it up.
1917's coming out. Anything that's been coming out at the movie theater, I see a lot of them are starting to come out because of what's going on.
Yeah,
but the issue is, I was actually going to touch on that too. But the issue with that is they're not coming out to rent; they're coming out to buy.
Yeah, well,
some of them are going straight to their streaming service, like Disney.
Okay.
Yeah,
but a lot of them are just, you're gonna have to pay the $20 instead of renting it for $3 to $5.
So it's still like going to the movies.
I saw Disney. I saw Frozen 2 yesterday with kids.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Some of them are going straight to the.
I watched it the other day without kids. But it's a great movie. It's a great movie.
But like, what's the big movie that they just had come out?
Is it the cartoon Onward?
No, it's a real movie.
Oh, an actual movie.
What
do you mean?
Oh, Star Wars.
Not a real movie.
Star Wars, because Star Wars they didn't put on the platform.
Right.
You can just buy it for $20 right now.
Is that what it is?
Yeah,
because
they released.
Tommy was watching it today. I wondered how he got it. I think he
where
must have
is
bought it.
Tommy?
Then.
He's at home.
Self-isolating.
Rude.
Like we all should have been.
But they released it. They released it early because it wasn't supposed to come out till the 23rd.
Right.
But it was only to buy, not to rent.
Frozen 2. I mean, they put it on streaming, but it still came out 3 months early.
Right,
Yeah.
which was great.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Grandkids loved it.
Yeah, good. I loved it.
Yeah,
No
I haven't
kids,
watched it.
No grandkids.
I did not see the whole thing yet, but we started
No,
it the
you
other
started
night, and
That's
things
funny.
got a little
Actually, it took me
crazy.
2 nights to watch it too because I get tired and I fall asleep when I watch stuff.
Yeah, no, mine wasn't tired. It was the grandkids crawling all over me.
Oh, the opposite of tired.
Yeah. I was having a house full, and yeah.
I started. Same thing happened to me. I had started watching Star Wars today, and my mom just stole my cigarette.
I've never
I
seen
did
such a
not. Lies, big lies.
thing. I'm confused.
Yeah, I just started watching. Star Wars.
A lot of changes happening.
Oh, Tammy's got so many changes.
Well,
You know we're going to have to get into it sooner or later, David. I don't know what to tell you.
No, we don't have to get into it. One thing we have to do is stop interrupting everybody.
talk about Star Wars.
Yeah.
You know Justin wants to talk about it.
We just talked about it for 20 minutes. All right, let's just take a breath.
I'm liking it, though.
So,
Star Wars.
David, I've never seen you tongue-tied my entire life.
I'm not tongue-tied. I just don't know where to go from there. It's just we're just going to keep talking over each other. I'm frustrated.
Okay, I promise I'll shut up now.
Just hit pause. All right, we're back after I had a mild meltdown. It wasn't nearly as bad as I thought, so I should pull my life together.
It's okay. We
But
understand.
Okay,
It's
we
a-
still love you.
It's a stressful time.
yeah, but Momma Hammer came over a little bit more drunk than I expected.
She did bring an empty bottle of wine.
And she actually ran out of the wine that she did bring.
I did not bring an empty bottle of wine, but I did finish what I had. I totally blame Valley Wine Cellar for this.
So I did what any sane person would do when they feel like their mom might be a little bit too drunk, and I made her a rum and Coke.
It's Coke Zero, so you know.
It's all good.
Calorie count's low. Coke Zero. We're good.
You've been wanting me back. I'm here.
I did tell you to come over too.
He did invite you over, so here we are.
Totally his fault.
You made your bed. You got to lie in it.
Yeah. So I'm not sure we're going to get anywhere if she doesn't get to talk about it again. So my mom has recently started dating.
She's entered the Tinder pool.
Yeah. Tinder.
Tammy's on Tinder.
Skip tender.
Skip Tinder. What? She, luckily she didn't use Tinder.
No, I did not use Tinder.
What app did you use, just so people know?
So I used a couple different apps, but the really weird thing was Our Time showed up on my Facebook totally unexpectedly.
Not unexpectedly.
I had not had much luck on some other sites.
What were the other sites?
Christian Mingle.
I did use Christian Mingle. Did not go well. People from Oregon wanted to be my friend. That's not going to work.
Farmers Only.
I did not use Farmers Only, but I did meet a farmer.
Yeah, you might as well use Farmers Only.
I used Our Time. It showed up on my Facebook page. I had been really against anyone in my backyard.
Okay.
I did not want to meet a weirdo, and then I could not get rid of him. So I had talked to a couple guys in Columbus area. But Our Time showed up. I ended up meeting a guy that was totally fake. But it ended up a really good thing. I wasn't really sure I wanted to date again. We did find out I did want to date again. I swore I never would.
She can't stop smiling.
For those that don't know, my dad passed away about 3 years ago, and she never thought she would date again, which I always thought was crazy. And even though sometimes she annoys me with how much she wants to talk about it, I am fully supportive of my mom dating again. I think I've shown that too.
You have.
So,
I'm
I'm getting some mixed signals, actually.
I just did not expect to. So I met this guy like 3 weeks ago. We started talking. We met for the first time just 2 weeks ago tomorrow. But because of the coronavirus, there has been a lot of home dating, which has led to a lot of really deep conversations. He just was totally not what I expected. David knows that I was ready to cancel the first night. I swore I was going to throw up on him. My children told me that would not be a good first date.
Not usually a good sign on the first date if you just vom on somebody.
He also said he was really nervous, and a week and a half in, 2 weeks now, we are really comfortable. He's the nicest guy I've ever met. So totally not my type. If you had told me a couple weeks ago that I would date him, I would have said you were crazy.
Just make sure you stay into the mic a little bit there.
Great guy. Guy. I'm happy.
And
totally happy.
And from the stories I hear, I hear he is a good guy. Where me and my mom end up at ends with it is when she wants to talk about kissing and things like that. Like you can say, hey, we kissed. Okay, cool. That's cool.
That's cool.
But, that's all right.
Everybody smooches.
But
he doesn't want to know we made out, though.
Oh.
See? That's just not a conversation we have to have.
And there we have it. So, I mean, we're having it, basically.
And then,
but Carl and Justin are enjoying the conversation.
I think they enjoy my reaction more than they enjoy the conversation.
Listen.
They said my smile was infectious.
It's true.
Let's be real honest, David. When was the last time you saw this smile?
Stay in here. No, I mean, we laugh a lot.
She's lighting up the room.
She's lighting up the room.
True.
It's a megawatt smile.
It's true. I can't. It's infectious. I'm smiling. She's smiling. Carl's smiling. You're frowning.
I'm not frowning.
And we've had a few conversations since David's been out of the room.
But when I went to go make the mixed drink for my mom because she needed it.
She needed a mixed drink after the bottle. I'm assuming the bottle of wine.
Yeah.
Oh, we're not going to go there, Justin.
So, but just to show that I really did support her dating for sure. That day that she was going for the first date, I actually talked her through it quite a bit because she was really nervous. Yeah. And I told her like, hey, relax, have a glass of wine. It's a conversation. It's not, it's not a life-altering first date, but she was right. It had been who knows how long since she had her first date.
Right.
40 years. And there's been a lot of changes in my life. I shouldn't just say it's been the dating aspect. I have finally gotten healthier. I am 35 pounds down. I went through a really bad depression. There was a lot of loss in my life besides my husband. I did not realize how bad it was until probably this situation came along. Yeah. And I'm probably happier than I've been in many years because my husband was sick
for a long time.
So it was tough before this came along. So this has really been a different situation for my children and for me, and certainly not what I expected in any sense of the imagination.
Yeah, I think it's good for you to get it out there too, because there could be other people in a similar situation that are also nervous about getting out there after like some sort of loss in their lives, and like the fact that you are doing it and you're happy and you're seeing the positives from it is a good thing, and it's a good message for other people that may be going through something similar to hear. Yeah, and also like for your children and maybe their children who. It's hard to adjust. I mean, it's a different thing that nobody's used to, no matter what age you're at.
Right. Absolutely. And I think it's important for a lot of people to know actually that you also have to be supportive. Like I know that it may seem weird to you that your mom is going to start dating after something like that, but like what is she supposed to do? Yeah. Like she's just supposed to not live her life.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Your happiness is as important as anyone's, and you should. If that's the route you want to take, like it's good that you're all supportive of it. I certainly
never thought that it was the route I wanted to take, and I will have to say that it was because of my children's support that I did take it. They kept saying, "You're too young. You're too young." And one Friday, just out of the blue, I suddenly joined a dating site, and I'm not going to lie, I joined several dating sites,
but not Tinder.
but not Tinder.
We know what that's for.
But people were laughing at me because I had such weird requests, like they had to be a certain height, they couldn't be retired. People are like, really, like you're like not going to date someone that's 5'7", and I'm like,
But it would have been weird if you dated Dad again.
Yeah. Right. And like my husband has been shorter than our whole entire dating life.
Well, like, he never grew taller than you,
and you never shrunk, so that makes sense.
Right. So it's I've been really really particular, and I said I didn't have to date. Yeah. I suddenly chose to date at because my children supported that.
Yeah.
So it's definitely, I know some people have thought that my requests have been a little weird. If you did not have a picture, you did not make the cut.
I think that's important for sure.
He did not have a picture.
Okay, well,
he made the cut.
You went the other way, but I think it's important if you're going to put yourself out there, you should have a picture of yourself as well. You can't just blindly try to.
Right.
I will say you took a big risk there.
I did, but there was a picture. He immediately sent me a thing that said, I know I don't have a picture, but here is a picture. Normally, I would not have even looked.
Okay.
It was definitely a God moment. He definitely said, look.
Did you say a God moment?
Absolutely.
Okay.
I looked. He had the kindest eyes I've ever seen.
All right, we're sizing him up real nice.
Superman has nothing to do with your dating life.
He is not my type at all. He's a farmer, a fisher. I'm a city girl.
He's got a beard.
He's got a beard.
Beards went.
Even though she always tries to tell me to shave my beard.
Well, yeah, and beards went immediately. If you had a beard, you went. There was a lot of things that you went for.
You're bucking some trends here.
I am definitely bucking
some walls are coming
trends.
down. That's good. That could be a good sign. Like you're becoming more open to your options, and you're finding something you're happy with. So that's probably all for the better.
It is, and I just think that people need to remember that, to be open.
Mm-hmm.
I was married for 35 years. I've been a widow for over 3 years. My husband and I were together since I was 18 years old. I am now 58. So I certainly did not expect this.
Mm-hmm.
And I encourage other women that were out there to know that maybe there is something else that you had no clue. Like I'm there's a lot of other things going on in my life. I own my own business. I'm very busy. I'm not always sure that I want to own that business. I am back in school.
And you're feeling more effects of owning a business now more than ever,
Absolutely.
I'm sure, because of everything that's going on. And I'm sure he is too with the different ventures that
he's got his fingers in many, many things. So that's been good for us that we both have that.
You can relate on that as well.
Absolutely. I'm not relating on David so much. Like, David's got a great business sense. He's always been my person that I go to and say, David, this is going on. What am I going to do? Where am I going to go? I was never the front person for our business. I was always the behind the scenes.
Doing the books, things like that.
Yeah, I did not speak in front of groups of people. I still have a problem with that. David has just been David has been a great resource for me. David has a lot of business sense, just as his father did, and I do not know that the business would have kept going without David being my sounding board.
I appreciate that. One thing I did want to touch on, first of all, is Justin, are you okay?
Sorry, I choked on bourbon, not the coronavirus.
I feel like that's the second time you've choked on bourbon.
It's a lot.
Justin, do you need to relate to my rum and coke, honey?
Maybe I might be a little chaser here.
But one thing I wanted to touch on is, it was it wasn't terribly noticeable, but it was noticeable that you had a little bit of depression, and I think people need to understand to change something if that happens. And for you, it ended up being the dating scene, and there was a drastic difference. Like all of a sudden, your house got crazy organized. You got ahead on business when you were always behind on business ever since everything happened. For the first time, you were ahead, and you were instead of kind of clamming up and hiding, you were taking care of things and then feeling the stress relief of taking care of those things
and taking care of myself.
Yeah, definitely taking care of yourself.
I think it would start with taking care of yourself, and then the other things see the benefit of that. Once you feel good, you're happy to wake up and you're happy to go to the office and you're happy to fill these orders for these people.
Yeah,
and you're happy to make these deadlines that maybe you've self set deadlines or maybe other deadlines you might have. You're happy to make those and fulfill those. And
my own health had really taken a back seat, because not only was my husband sick, I think probably people need to know that my thing is collecting old people There's been a lot of sick people in my life. My husband died. My grandmother died 10 days before him. I broke my back the day before.
Because she was moving furniture.
That my children were on the way to move. It was totally my fault.
And their friends would have come to help move as well.
Yeah.
And just to clarify, she didn't break her back to where like she was paralyzed. She had to be immobilized for a little while to let it heal, but she wasn't paralyzed or anything like that.
But like that's a whole lot of loss and a whole lot of things to shoulder and carry.
And then my
anyone.
Father died after that.
Just recently.
Right, just recently.
Very recently.
And I had a very close relationship with him. My aunt died a year before my husband did, who was probably more like my mother.
Yeah.
So there's been a lot of loss in my life. There's been a lot of things that have went on. There's been a lot of weight gain. There's been a lot of not looking after my own health while I was busy looking after everyone else's.
Right.
Yeah, actually, do you have those pictures?
I do have a picture. I have a picture
Show
that
it to-
my daughter sent me.
Show it to Carl and Justin, because it's crazy when you see the difference. Like I almost like didn't really notice it. I knew that she looked a little better.
Yeah.
Well, it's just like
the difference is insane.
I am actually down 35 pounds.
Yeah,
that's
I
great.
am feeling better. I am, and what's really funny is, as much as I wanted to feel better and look better, the guy that I am now seeing, that would not be first on his priority list, probably. Like, I no longer send a picture to my children saying, "Can I wear this? Does this look all right?" Like, I know he is
accepting
of me for me.
Right, but you should still want to be healthy for you.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
That's part of what is keeping you in a better mental state.
Keeping you in the better mental state and overcoming all of the loss and all the things you've described is definitely starts on like the most personal level, and it's only natural for you to have to like tried to do everything you can to take care of the people around you, but now that you've really gotten a chance to focus on yourself, I think anyone this is reaching could learn a lot from that and be inspired, because like you can do it, and even though like you've lost a tremendous amount,
right,
when you start to look at like deep within yourself and put yourself as a priority, and when you finally do that, like everything around you will thrive, and it's just like exponential growth around you. Everything will get better if you take that positive mindset.
And it's even not just the weight loss, it's the overall mindset has changed so incredibly much.
Without the weight loss, even if you were happy mentally, that would all that's just a benefit of it, is the 35 pounds now. Yeah, and that's great. That's
and
100%.
I mean, you have all known me for a lot of years, so you've seen me through a lot of things, and I know that you have all been quite surprised tonight.
Maybe with how open you've been.
Well, not only with how open I've been, but with a smile on my face. Shut up.
I don't know.
The smile on my face has spoken a lot.
It has. It spoke volumes. It really has. Like Carl said, and like I've said over and over, like it really, your smile is infectious, and I think we're all in a better mood, except maybe some of us.
Except for maybe David.
One thing I think does need to be pointed out, though, is even when you are trying to take care of other people, it is important to take care of yourself.
Yes,
and unfortunately, and it's hard to do. And unfortunately, my mom had lost track of that.
And that's the first thing to slip.
Okay, so here's the picture. Say wow.
Wow.
Because that is crazy.
Wow. Very crazy.
That's a crazy difference.
Yeah,
like
it really is.
I mean, my daughter sent me that picture and was like, "I just need you to know how proud I am of you."
Yeah, good for you, and good for her for sending it to you and sharing, because it's something you might not have recognized.
Yeah,
even.
I did not realize. Like, I knew I was down. I knew I was down probably 25. I knew I was down 25. Yeah, like I am running around my house. I'm playing hide and seek. I'm playing tag with my grandkids.
Right.
So there's a lot of differences that way, and that have felt really good.
They're growing and they're getting more active too. So you're gonna have to chase them around more. So
and,
you better
and that's
get ready.
what I want to be able to do. You know, I want to be able to spend that time and do those things.
Yeah, that's great. That is great.
It also couldn't have happened at a better time, because at that weight that you were at, you would have been more at risk right now as well.
That's true.
Absolutely. I never hit beyond 199.9, and I am tall. I'm 5'10".
Yeah.
I'm 5'9".
She's shrinking as the minutes go. I'm 5'8.5". But I'm 5'7" on Tinder.
But
and you have to be 6 foot and no beard.
Yeah, that's right. And my requirement was 5'10", and you could not be retired. Ooh, I did not need you up my butt.
Right,
I am way too busy for that nonsense.
That's good. And like for the people that I think I wanted to say this before, I don't know if I did. So sorry if I did, if this is repeating something, but the people that judge you for the requirements you make, like, no, you're at a point in your life where you know exactly what you want. You've been through it. You were married for 35 years. You know what you had. You know everything that brought, everything great that brought. And now you know exactly what you want and what you want going forward.
And no matter what, you should set initial requirements. And then if you decide for somebody to make...
Okay, you should be open-minded for sure.
Right.
But you need to know what you want.
Yeah.
Right. And I had no idea I wanted those things. I started off thinking, yeah, David, we all know that. I just stared off thinking, I think I want someone taller. I think I want this. And then I ended up getting, had you told me that he was this, and this, I would have said,
you said no thanks.
No way.
It's not, I definitely wouldn't call that being judgmental, but you have to set yourself, like, you have what you want in mind. Like, you're not going to judge someone. Right. Obviously not, because he didn't even have a picture. And then when you talked to him, he sent you one, and you were like, well, okay, Mr. Ball.
And I, literally should have never even looked at that message. Like, up until that point, I had not looked at any message that did not have a picture. Didn't even look at the message. Right. Like, totally blew it off.
Yeah.
So be open-minded, but you got to know exactly what you want.
Yeah.
And you're reaping the benefits from being open-minded, I would say.
Well, and he was so good and so polite and so different. Was very, the very first time we went out, he's like, you need to pick. And I'm like, really? I'm not picky. I can eat wherever. It's not a big deal. And he said, no, you need to be comfortable with this situation.
Are you going to choke again?
No, I was chewing on ice
cream.
I figured that would have been murder.
So I, and I know this isn't, like I said, I know this isn't David's first choice of topics, but I want other people to know out there that
we're kind of forcing him into it.
It's a good thing, and you need to know that maybe there is something out there that you had no clue.
How we're discussing the topic now, I'm always 100% on board with. It's the obnoxious part that I'm not on board with.
What? We were being obnoxious?
I'm never obnoxious.
You think we're being obnoxious?
It's when she thinks it's funny. Because when she wants to make it funny, she goes overboard.
Well, let's think about the times my girls have told me that, oh, wait, there's the same car in the driveway 2 days in a row. What's going on?
I like that she always says the same car 2 days in a row instead of the more upsetting one being the fact that there used to be different cars every time.
Day.
There's been 6 different cars here this week.
Yeah, and I do hear that. I have heard that before.
But here's my thing. I didn't tell her that. Somebody else told her that.
That's true. And I have to admit, David and I have a very different relationship than my other children and I do.
Yeah, we're very open about everything. I know there's times where I tell you stuff doesn't have to do with my sex life, but there's times where I tell you stuff that you're like, I don't want to know that.
Yeah, la 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 la.
Karma.
Yeah.
So
again, not with my relationship life.
You being my firstborn, we've been through a lot of things together.
Yeah.
So definitely,
well,
and it probably at your urging more than the others that I did decide to date again.
Yeah.
So it was really funny to me the first time you said, oh, stop. I don't want to know anymore.
Yeah.
I was really probably very surprised by that. Probably your sister has taken that better than any of the rest of you, which I was very surprised about because she's definitely a daddy's girl.
Oh, yeah. But I think she understands, just like everybody should, that you're supposed to not live your life for the next 30, 40 years.
Thing was though,
you're not 80 years old.
No, but I mean I'd been married for long enough and knew what I wanted and been independent, and I had 3 great kids that always supported whatever I did. So I definitely didn't need to date again. So I just didn't see that in my future. I'm pretty independent, and I kind of felt sorry for anybody that thought they might want to date me, actually.
But no, I do think that is actually an important message. I'm glad that when we came back, I decided to go ahead and talk about it, because then we had the conversation that I like having and the one that I think should be had. I think it's very important because I know there's a lot of people who lose people and then they probably feel like they can't get back out there or they're just scared to get back out there.
Yeah, they don't know how to feel.
Right.
Well, and let's think about it. I wore my wedding rings probably up until 6 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And your dad's coat and hat hung on my headboard up until what? 3 weeks ago,
Yeah.
David? I sent you a picture and said, and probably, I have to tell you the truth, that coat and hat hung there longer for David than it did for me or my other children. David would come over, he would come in my room, he would touch that, he would always acknowledge that if there was dust in it, he would dust it off. That really was left there probably more for you than for any of us.
Yeah.
And then once we had a couple conversations, I knew that you were going to be okay with me removing that. And you were the first person that I sent that picture to, that it's gone.
Yeah.
I haven't had wedding rings on for a long time.
And I think that was a good move. And you know, everybody obviously took Dad passing hard, but for you know, as people know from the story that we told on the podcast you've been on, there was a point in time where there was a heavy part of my life that was spent with just me and Dad. I mean, I would come and visit you, but you know, he kind of had more of the custody, and I spent a whole lot of time with just him. So
when I was not getting Mother of the Year,
you were still a good mom. It's not like you were ever absent from my life. I always talked to you. I always knew you.
Right.
But yeah, so that I think that kind of struck me in not a worse way or anything like that, but a different way in some ways.
Absolutely.
Like the main thing the only thing I wanted from that was his ring, because that's something.
Right, which you got.
Yeah, which.
And I finally, not only have I cleared off the bedpost, I've cleared off his nightstand.
And you gave me the only other thing I asked for.
Absolutely. And there was a thing on top of it that said, "I love you this much," in a teacup that your sister had given him years ago. I gave her that.
Nice.
So my life has definitely changed.
I
mean, I'll never get over him. He will always be the love of my life. His initials are still on my arm.
Right. So you have it tattooed with an infinity.
Which you know, that will always be part of. And that was the thing. Whoever became part of my life would have to accept all those things.
Oh yeah.
And even, I mean, as you all know, this relationship is very new. It's very different. But we still, I will say, my husband and I, or Jim and I, and he has been very accepting of that.
Well, yeah. I mean, you have to be.
Yeah.
I mean, that's part of you. That's not only part of your life, but a majority of your life.
Right. And he never balks at it. He never.
Yeah. To take it a little bit lighter, I do think we also have to tell people that are, I'd say, in their 40s, 50s, 60s that are trying to date again, to definitely not be afraid of the online. And I get why you are, because when you probably first, like, for you, when you first started
what happened?
Hold on. When you first started dating Dad, the internet didn't even fucking exist.
No. And what happened with my very first online dating experience?
What, the Belgium guy?
Yeah, the Belgium guy ended up being fake.
Well,
he was totally fake. I met a guy that was totally fake. I'm not sorry for it for one moment.
Right.
It was what I needed to move me on to the next step.
Right.
He gave me some self-confidence that I really needed.
Well, he wasn't real.
He wasn't real. He was not real.
But the self-confidence he gave me was real.
She did cuss him out one time too, and it's like, well, if he's not real, you're cussing out.
Somebody saw those words.
But here's the thing: like I said from the beginning, it wasn't real. Like I went into that with that expectation that he was not real. For it. Yeah, he did. He mocked me for it. He said, "You can't keep saying that," and it ended up he was not real. But he was what I needed to push me to the next point.
But it probably gave you some confidence. Having the experience, whether it was real or not, you at least knew what could happen.
Right. And it's so funny, though, because we were sending pictures back and forth, and I was sending pictures
what
thinking
kind of pictures?
No, just with clothes on. I'm skinny. I look really cute. No, you can't call me. All of a sudden, I'm feeling really cute. Okay, call me, and maybe I'll answer the phone.
For a little while, she became that typical girl. And
I
it was like
I got really cocky.
Gotta knock it off.
Don't you call me right now.
Well, no,
I
she'd be
remember.
like, call me, and then when they call,
Don't answer.
when they would call, she'd be like, why is he calling me? Like, because you told him to. That's why. Don't do that.
But I mean, it was what I needed at that point in time. So it was good.
Yeah.
But I went into it knowing he's probably not real. I had that conversation with my kids. I had that conversation with some really good friends.
Well, the main reason I was telling you not to think like that, because if you kept thinking about like that with everybody, then like look for the signs and stuff like that, but don't constantly say that, because then you weren't going to allow yourself to believe anything could be real.
Right. And I really did take that with a grain of salt of what David told me and to watch. And I knew that he probably wasn't real, but I knew that he was exactly what I needed at that time.
Everybody needs.
So it was all good.
Everybody needs a fake significant other at some point in time.
How long did you carry it on? Like, how long did you know it wasn't real?
What was really funny is he carried it on.
I still need the compliments.
I just want to keep going.
He carried it on for probably a month.
A month? And you knew it wasn't real for a whole month?
And then, I
think we need to have a different conversation.
Yeah, she's been hanging out with Manti Te'o.
So then I got connected with the guy I'm seeing now. And we'd been talking and then seeing each other for a couple weeks. And I woke up on a Monday morning and I had a text from the fake guy again that I had totally been ignoring and had totally blown off.
Because he was fake, I hope.
I finally blocked him. But it like I said, it all happened in the right place, the right time. So don't ever doubt yourself for those.
Yeah.
You may need those to move on, and that's okay.
Well, and I date fake women all the time, but that's a different kind of fake.
That's a different kind of fake. That's a different conversation altogether.
Some days I would like him to find a wife. I really would.
Well, there's Tinder, and
there's Tinder.
There's what did you use? Only Friends? Our Friends?
No, our time.
But it's for older, so he's out.
Well,
I'm getting there.
Maybe you need an older lady.
Maybe.
He needs one of those silver singles. What's that say? Silver singles?
And I did silver singles. I had a couple that had liked me and wanted to get to know me better that I knew through friends.
Okay.
And knew that was just not going to work.
That's not what you wanted. You didn't want any previous connections.
No, I did not want a previous connection. I did not want to hurt any of my children's feelings or their friends' feelings
about
or interfere with those relationships. Yeah,
that makes a lot of sense.
I think it was actually good, especially at least for your first time, for it to be somebody out of your friend circle or even acquaintance circle. Yeah, I think that was good.
You need a new experience, like a completely new on just about every level.
And then I do have to say,
what's his name again though?
His name is Bob.
Bob. Even though he's been really nice and he's got an inner circle and you've gotten out and gotten new experiences, let's once this coronavirus thing is over, let's take it a step up from Kings and Romanos.
He did say that the other day. He said, I am ready to meet your kids. I just didn't expect it to be this way.
Bob's got to meet the kids and the friends.
Oh, I don't know if Bob could handle my daughter's already told me that it's going to be on when coronavirus is over, because our kids have had to endure a lot of family dinners with a lot of girlfriends, significant others, and I guess it's payback. And I've said, I'm grown. I don't need this shit.
I think mine were probably the worst, but that's probably a lot of my own doing by who I brought.
Absolutely.
But look, then the dog broke in. Nymeria. But I still think, even depending on how long the coronavirus thing is, don't rush into overwhelming him with all of us.
No,
because we can definitely be overwhelming.
Absolutely.
But the first time he does, we should, have family dinner with all the family and all of our friends.
Yeah,
like 20 or 30 people.
Yeah, Kenny Dornbush definitely wants to be invited into that. We had that conversation tonight. Well, my old people like to be involved in my life too.
Yeah. Well, I think we should have Carl, Tommy, Justin, Corinne.
Really, guys?
Chris.
So you never want him to date me again? Really, as happy as I am, you never want him to date me again?
I just think he should be prepared.
You gotta pass the test.
Justin, if you just lift up on that handle when you close it, you gotta lift up. You hear it click.
I just think that's totally unfair on my part.
No, you mean on our part.
No, mine for it. I'm like really. I don't know if you notice the smile on my face.
It's
Loving
infectious,
it.
like I said.
Actually, stemming from your date, I think a movie that everybody should watch. You and Bob just watched it on one of your dates. A movie I recommended to you is Wonder.
Oh, it was a great movie. We enjoyed it.
And
fill me in. What's Wonder? I don't think I've even ever heard of it.
Oh, it's so good, Justin.
Is it new or old?
It's older.
Older, okay.
I have it here, so I'll give it to you when you leave.
Yeah, I just returned.
Okay.
But it is all about basically people being nicer to people, and I think that's something that everybody could use in their life right now.
Yeah, the most definitely.
Absolutely.
Sense of community and being nice to everyone.
Yeah.
And one thing I wanted to ask you, I was peeing, so I think I missed a bit of the conversation, pardon me. But do you think because of everything that's going on and because you've had to a home date as opposed to like going to a restaurant or going to a bar or going to a movie or whatever it may be, do you think that you maybe have made a deeper connection sooner than previously? The fact that you had to have dated, like the dates you guys have had, you had to have been at home and watching movies or whatever.
Our first date was at King's. David was not happy about it. It was a Sunday night at 7 o'clock.
Yeah.
It was a Sunday night at 7 o'clock. There's not a lot open. He's coming in from 35 minutes away.
Truck stop.
He was trying to make it so he said, I know you live in Steubenville, or you say you live close to Wintersville. So it was good. The very first night he called me, I will tell you, we spoke for over an hour. When we met at King's, we were there for 2 hours.
Oh, my. I've spent 2 hours at King's, but I was doing other things.
The second date, we ended up meeting at a hole in the wall, which he told me was a hole in the wall.
Where was it? Let's fill the people in.
It was at Romano's.
That's a decent place.
They had great food.
I've heard good
but
things.
Here's the thing.
I don't think I've ever been
we
there.
didn't meet until 9 o'clock at night. I was babysitting till 8:30. He had a meeting at 7, so we weren't meeting till 9 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
None of these places were somewhere that they wanted us to get up and give our seats up quickly. It was not loud. We were able to talk.
That's good.
And then our third date was at home because Corona had started. I said I just would feel more comfortable talking at home. He said, are you sure? Like, I don't want you to be uncomfortable. I said, absolutely not. I'm really comfortable in my own home.
That's good.
He's been very polite. He's been very good.
And my oldest son lives not even a block away.
I could hit his house with a rock. Well, he could hit my house with a rock.
Yeah. So I have to say that it has made a difference. We've spent a lot of time in my home. We've spent probably 3 dates now in my home.
Okay.
I've cooked once. He's brought food once. We've actually only watched a movie once. We've spent a lot of time talking. He has his fingers in a lot of things. As most of you know, I am self-employed.
That was a weird part to enter the fingers in a lot of things.
I don't think we need to go there. I don't think we need to go there.
We were talking about dates, and then you went to business, but you didn't distinguish.
I'm sorry. He owns his own business. He owns several different things.
Fingers in.
So it has definitely probably brought things to a different level sooner than they would have if we were going out on dates somewhere. Yeah. Because we are dating in my home.
You're making a deeper connection. There's not a lot of people around. And
it's an easier way to talk and communicate.
And even when you're picking out a movie, you can learn a lot about somebody.
That's why I miss Blockbuster.
Right. Yeah, you go there, you talk, you're like, I don't want to watch SummerSlam from 98. I don't want to watch Freddy Krueger.
Yeah, it's definitely been different.
I do want to watch SummerSlam from 98, though. So if anyone has that on VHS, I'll slide it my way. So, send me that WWF Network password. I want to watch all those old wrestling matches.
Before you continue on, I do want to touch on Blockbuster more because I want to say that was a whole date on its own. You went to Blockbuster. Absolutely. You went together. You picked out a movie.
You held some hands.
Yeah,
you talked about snacks.
You held
some hands.
You touch the small of the back.
Come this way. Let's go look at this section.
Yeah,
no, it's not the small of the back. It's the hip.
Oh, the hip now.
The hip.
Well, we could learn a lot from you, I guess.
But that to me, that was such more of an experience than the Netflix and chill where you just are scrolling through.
But we really haven't done the scrolling through. We really
kind of picked something and went with it.
Yeah, I'm like, here's what I have. David recommended this. He's like, that's great, and we enjoyed it.
Good.
He is very polite. He has not held my hand or hugged me without asking.
That's weird.
It is weird, but it's our generation.
Yeah, well, it's nice. And plus, you guys shouldn't be holding hands right now anyway. Coronavirus.
Oh, we're already holding hands, honey.
You better be sanitizing.
Yeah,
we wash our hands a lot.
Okay, good. Hand sanitizer. You better have a pump each before you touch hands. I'm telling you.
Right.
He's just not what I expected in any way, shape, or form. And I know David does not want to hear this.
No, how this is fine. This is good.
But I want to tell you all that
I keep hitting my head on the microphone.
It's out there. It's good.
Good.
No,
and the smile, and I know my smile is infectious.
It is. Yeah. It really is. And I think...
I mean, you guys have been around for a lot of years. Right.
For sure. And I think, like I've said a couple of times, I think it's important for the people this may reach is to they could learn they could take a lot from this and your experience, and maybe if they've dealt with a loss, or they maybe not even a loss, but like getting back into the dating pool with children, with grown children, like they could take a lot from your experience and maybe like tear down some walls on their own or set up some and know exactly what they want and know that it's okay to try.
No matter Jim and I were together since I was 18 years old.
That's
and I'm 58 now.
That's fascinating on its own. And if there's people similar, or maybe they're in a completely different sort of situation, they can still learn a lot from the fact that you're coming on this platform and sharing your experience.
Absolutely.
And yours is very positive, and there could be some negative ones out there, but you could learn from those as well.
Well, and I did have a negative.
Yeah, and you got to go through the negatives to get to the positives. I mean, positives don't really exist without negatives.
And I didn't expect the positives so soon.
Mom, real quick, can you put that ice cube in this glass and hand me that bottle?
Is that something you can handle?
Which bottle?
The one that's right there.
Taylor?
Yeah.
And E.H. Taylor, Dave Hammer approved.
Yeah, this is my favorite bourbon so far. Well, actually, I had Pappy Van Winkle 12-year, and that was my favorite, but I'm not going to have that in my actual possession ever.
I think Blanton's is my favorite, but not just because it bears my last name. And I'm not sure that I'm related to those people, but if I am, and this happens to reach someone in the direct family of the bourbon people,
send some more on.
Yeah, please contact me. Take my personal information. I would love to have a hand in the business.
Justin Blanton.
The family business. Like, come on, guys. There's more of us out here.
So, I know that Carl over here has been really quiet, and quiet is his thing. But Carl has been around since day one.
Of us moving here.
Used
to steal our cheese.
He's a cheese stealer for sure.
I mean, he's been there through many, many things of this family. So I have been very encouraged by his words. I just, like I said, I just want to encourage others that, believe me, I never was going to date again. I'm very independent. I don't need that. I have a great social life. I have friends. I have kids. I have grandkids.
Well, we helped you get out there more with the friend thing too, because you weren't really going out. You weren't really doing much.
I was afraid.
Yeah, and we got you going to Valley Wine. Great group of people over there. We talk about Valley Wine fairly often.
Yeah, shout out to Valley Wine because they're still open right now. For anyone who doesn't know, they're still open and they're sanitizing everything. And please support them.
Please go pick up your wine.
Yeah,
I'm out. I gotta go.
Hold on. The bar is closed. You can't do the bar, but you can pick up wine and craft beer there, and definitely support them. It's a great place. It's a great family.
And I saw an 8-week-old puppy there today, so I mean, if you're into puppies, it might be there.
And I have to tell you, Pam and Mary have been my saving grace. I never ever thought I would go out alone again. When I first showed up, probably a month ago now, maybe 6 weeks ago, the first time on my own, they were both so excited to see me. And they have been great.
Yeah, I think one time I was there, and you'd actually been there longer than David had been there. And he was getting ready to leave, and you still had about a quarter of a bottle of wine you planned on drinking.
Yeah.
I had
wait, he actually had to come pick me up one time.
That was that night. I had to go pick her up.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Because you were well into your cups, that's for sure.
I wasn't until David kept pouring my bottle into my glass because he showed up and was like, "That's all you've drank."
You know, you're a bad influence.
Here, drink
In some
more.
ways, I am.
On your mother, you're a bad influence.
But it ended up a good
We've
thing.
talked about a lot of the positivity you've had on it. Let's talk about the negatives, David. You have considerably contributed to her drinking a whole bottle of wine more than once.
Actually, I do want to bring this up. So, as we know, an American treasure, Tom Hanks, has tested positive for the coronavirus.
Oh gosh.
And
Rita, his wife Rita,
Yeah.
she's lovely too.
Yes.
But what I've realized is, I think the coronavirus may have been started by Mary Decker to get to Tom Hanks
You think
because
so?
she hates Tom Hanks.
Well, first of all, how could you? He's a national treasure.
A national treasure.
And he's hot.
Oh, well,
Watch out, Bob.
you know,
Momma Hammer.
I saw a funny thing about Tom Hanks today because he has a few like grown children basically, and
Yeah.
one is named Colin,
Yeah, he
And
was,
one
he was
it-
also an actor.
and one is named Chet.
Chet?
Chet?
Is Chet an actor?
Which one
No.
is the actor, Colin?
Colin is the actor. Chet is the guy that exists. So, and he has like full sleeves,
Oh, really?
maybe like a neck tat.
Oh, no shit.
He was on the Golden Globes and he was speaking in that Jamaican language. What do they call? I'm not sure what they call it, but it's like English, but like not.
right. I know what you're
it's
talking
like-
about. I can't think
he's
of what
like-
it's called.
He's like, oh, it's your boy Chet. Blah, 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 blah. So like, you know, it's just it said this is proof. Like when you name a boy Colin, you get a Colin, and when you name a boy Chet,
You get a
you
Chet.
get a Chet.
Okay, wait, what
And then-
happened here? I got a PJ, a David, and a Hannah, and I so did not get any of those things.
Yeah, well, how about when PJ was being born, I hear that his name was going to be either Steve or Patrick,
Patrick,
and David was the choice, and PJ maybe have never forgiven him for picking Patrick over Steve because he always wanted to be Steve.
But he is a PJ.
gotta
It's
lift
true.
up.
He really is. I think the two letters fit him well because, you know, he's stern and he's he's soft spoken and
He is
he
his
gets his point.
father.
He gets his point across.
Well-
So PJ, two letters, that's enough for him.
well, the one reason
Shout
I
out
went,
to PJ. I love you, brother.
the one reason I went with Patrick is because every Patrick I knew was cool as fuck.
Okay,
at the time. I mean, I was
yeah.
pretty young, but
Right.
every Patrick I knew
You
was
were like
cool as
6
fuck.
years
wait,
old.
Should we? No, he was 9. But should
Okay.
we talk about the fact that he wanted no children? He hated babies and thought they were the worst thing ever. It broke
Well,
his mother's heart.
I
I
don't
don't-
even remember that.
I don't blame you because I have an older sister, same age as David, and I'm only a year older than PJ. She's 5.5 years older than me, and she wanted a bunny.
not a brother.
And
Not a
my,
brother.
My parents said, "Well, you're getting a little brother," and she was not pleased. Not pleased. But then after that, she was like my biggest protector and always looked over me. So like I owe
Just
a lot.
as great.
I owe a lot of things to her. And
Just as great.
she's feeling this effects of this. I mean, as much as anyone too, because she's a oh my god, the name escapes me, but she works on a lot of pediatric cases where there's open lung, open heart
Okay.
surgery.
Yeah, yeah.
She's in the surgery room and she's feeling effect of this as well. They can't take on any new patients. They
Right.
can't expose themselves to babies. She works on babies,
Yeah.
like newborns, like ICU, like
Yeah, that's
everything
rough.
above it. So like she's quarantined as well. In Illinois, they put a lockdown on people as well. They followed suit with like some other states.
Right.
So as of yesterday at 3 p.m., I don't think she was allowed to leave her house. But like the cases that she was working on, I mean, they're just as important as anything. And like a lot of
Absolutely.
like
yeah.
a lot of heart, like she has heart. Anatomical heart tattooed and then the brain I think she was going to get because a lot of her stuff is like open chest. She keeps what is the fucking word
She
for
keeps
it?
the heart going
She
while
keeps
you're
the-
in open heart surgery.
while you're in open heart surgery, open
she
chest.
is the
and
machine
yeah.
that keeps everything
Yeah.
going. She is.
yeah, no, not a
No.
defibrillator. It's a
It's a bypass machine.
Yeah, she keeps.
She
the
keeps your
bypass
blood flowing,
She
basically.
keeps
Keeps
the
your blood flowing.
bypass
Yeah.
machine going.
Okay.
Just as a very important thing, you know.
I'll think of the word eventually.
I do have to say that everybody here comes from some great families.
Mhm.
Justin, not only is your sister in the front line and doing a lot of great things, you come from a great mom and dad. Your mom never was a fan of my David for a long time.
She kicked me out of class every fucking day.
That's true.
That was probably David's fault.
Well, listen-
Arnie is great, and I love your mom and dad, and Brian knows that his family has been been very special in our life for a long time, since the first even before I got here, David made friends with the Joyces.
Yeah.
They have been a part of our life since day one. There was some sneaking out. There were some things going on that we don't even want to go there. But they Hannah. Hannah's little girl is now in preschool. The kindergarten teachers are fighting over her, and one of them would be Amy. So there's just, when you come from California in a big city and to now come to a small town, and 24 years later, right, David? 24, 25?
I know.
Since 97, had you told me that I would ever be a small town girl, I would have told you absolutely not. But
my sister's a perfusionist.
Yes, that is what she is.
Sorry for the delay.
There's a couple things I want to hit on. One, me and Justin's mom get along great now, but she did kick me out of class every day. Sometimes my fault, sometimes not my fault.
I think sometimes there was only one time maybe you were asking for a pen or a pencil.
No, somebody else was asking me for a pen or a pencil, which was crazy because I didn't even carry a book bag or books. I literally took nothing to class. Somebody was like, "Hey man, do you have a pen?" And I was like, "No."
And she was like, "Mr. Hammer."
Yeah, I don't have a pen for myself, let alone for you.
You're out of here.
And she was like, "Mr. Hammer, talk it again." I'm like, "Well, and she kicked me out. And it got to the point actually where I would go to the office and Mr. McVeigh was a vice principal, and he would say, "What happened now?" And I'm like, I don't know. And he'd be like, just go somewhere. Just go do something. And I'd be like, "Oh, okay."
I will have to say David takes after his father. He knows a lot of things that are just weird shit to know.
Yeah,
I think he probably got bored.
I was definitely bored. I got really bad grades up until my senior year because they were like, "Hey, you need to try to one, graduate, and two, try to get JCC for free." And so
neither one happened.
So
no, he did graduate. I lie. I'm sorry. Let's back that
I definitely graduated. But so my senior year, I actually went to class and I got a 3.8, and I also didn't have to take any of my final exams the whole year. I literally would walk into they'd be like, "What do you think you got?" And I'm like, hopefully an A.
And I would say an A.
Yeah, and they were like, "All right, so get out of here." I went from being the guy that never went to class, and when I did, wasn't paying attention, to the guy that people were cheating off of, and they had to keep moving me around the class.
And like I said, he's always been very. I would like to say he was probably bored. I would also say that if I were able to do things over, I would have left him at Central with Brian and his group of friends.
That was a terrible idea.
No, I think it's where he would have probably thrived the most eventually.
You don't even understand. I was the only person maybe in Central history that almost got in a fight in the hallway. I had to take a religion class. I got scolded for taking communion. I said, "Hey, I'm not Catholic, so I shouldn't walk up here," because I knew. And they were like, "No, just walk up, and then when you get up there, don't just make a sign that you don't take communion." Send out the bat signal. And when I got up there, I didn't know about the bat signal at the time. Actually, they were like, "Just tell them." So I tried to tell them, and they just shoved it in my mouth. And I was like, "Oh shit!" So I walked on, and then I got to religion class, and Miss Nawrat tore into me for taking communion because she knew I wasn't Catholic or really religious at this point. They
force-fed me communion.
I'm like, I tried to. Hold on, and I'm like, I tried to tell them that I was not Catholic, and they shoved it in my mouth, Miss Nawrat. She was like, "You should have spit it out or something." I'm like, "Well, how disgraceful is that to spit out the body of Christ? Are you out of your mind?" So
really
hold on. So then I didn't pay attention in religion class because I used to be very, very religious. I was part of Bible memory verse and all these different things, and I fell out of it, and I'm still out of it. But in religion class, I was not paying enough attention to anything. So on one test, I finally saw an answer I thought I knew the answer to. It said, "Who is or describe Martin Luther?" And I was like, got it. I was like, Martin Luther was a black man who fought for black civil rights. And don't get me wrong, I now know he started the Protestant Reformation.
And they were like,
pretty much changed religion on a massive scale.
He like nailed it to the door.
Yeah. But needless to say, I also got my ass chewed out for that answer. She thought I was being silly, and I thought I had the right answer for once in religion class. Shout out to Dina Bartimus. The only reason I passed that class, she saw me during the final exam just like not even trying, and she started sliding her test over so it would fold over and I could see the answers.
Yeah,
shout out, actually, Dina Cooney now, I believe, but Dina Bartimus, shout out to you.
Big shout out. Big shout out. You helped him through.
And what's really funny is I can't say that you did not come from a background of I mean, there was definitely a religious background, even if it was only from your mother's side.
Oh no, and Dad made sure we went because it was important to you.
Absolutely.
And I at one point I was very religious. I went to like 3 different churches by choice. Like that was my thing. I was in a Christian punk band at one point. DC Talk. Don't get me started. I still know some of those songs by heart.
I'd like to get you started.
Actually. Also audio adrenaline.
Yes.
It's a big, big house with lots and lots of room.
Oh yeah.
It's a big, big house.
All right.
It's our Father's house.
What's happening right now?
I was
confused.
I was very religious, but I just something that I realize Superman helps me just about as much.
Things changed when we
Shout
came
out to
here.
Superman.
Things
Were we
definitely
talking about
changed
this
when we
movie
came here.
Wonder? What is Wonder?
Yeah, it's that movie that I watched the other night with my friend. I don't
Yeah.
know what to call him anymore. I don't know if he's my boyfriend.
Oh.
I don't
He's
know
definitely
if he's
your
my
boyfriend.
friend.
I think he's a boyfriend.
You think he's a boyfriend?
I think we can call him a boyfriend.
I haven't said that for a long time,
true.
guys.
Well, I
So-
think it's time. We've been a few weeks, few dates, few at-home dates. Even though
Several at-home
circumstances considered, I think we could say boyfriend at this point.
Ooh, that kind of scares me.
All
But
right,
so-
we got Julia,
But I like it.
We got Julia Roberts,
Yeah,
Yeah.
she did a great part.
Jacob Tremblay, who is my favorite.
Owen.
Just kidding, I can't name another role of his.
Owen Wilson, but it is.
I do love Owen Wilson.
Yeah, got to.
Yeah.
But it is a movie.
What's up with his nose?
Yeah, it's
Is
all
it
jacked
like
up.
what happened
Yeah.
to him?
Yeah, he could have actually been the lead character in this as well. So the movie is about a kid who has physical deformities from a disease, and
So you guys were watching some heavy stuff. You were like lighthearted, like Superbad or something like that.
but
You were.
it
Watching
is lighthearted at the same time.
Is it?
though.
It's
Yeah.
like something like
it's a feel good movie.
feel good.
Yeah.
Okay, okay. Well, that's good. I don't think you should watch something too like
No.
emotionally charged when you're like
No.
trying to.
I mean,
get
it's emotional.
mean,
It'll
we
give you a little bit
have,
of a tearjerker.
That's true.
Like I said, it's been a little different
Hold on, we got.
because of the situation.
Yeah, but you got to get can't get too sidetracked. We're talking about the movie.
Yeah, and the movie
So-
was good.
so-
There was a lot of great points to it.
But so the movie Wonder is about a kid that is deformed through a disease that he has, and he wants to actually start going to school.
Actually, he did not want to. His mother wanted him to.
Oh, was it his mother that wanted him to?
Yeah,
And
Julie Roberts.
so they send him, and he was nervous because of how he looked and people judging him. But he ends up
Always
having
wore his helmet at the beginning.
yeah.
Okay.
But he has a huge heart, and his huge heart starts like basically being infectious to other people.
Absolutely.
it rubs off on people and people start
And
to.
I think
okay.
people
Yeah.
need to see that it's not about how you look or how you are or
Well, and just about being good to people,
right,
period.
being kind and
Yeah,
to
being-
and
people, like
especially
no matter
in this
what.
day and age. in
Yeah,
this
everything
time right
everything
now.
that's going on,
Yeah,
for sure.
absolutely.
It's important to remember that like things like that don't really matter at this point in time, and we should always, kindness should come first. And
Absolutely.
Yeah, I really think it should be, and it's got high ratings from everybody.
it does, yeah. Although it's maybe probably off a lot of people's radar, but because I never heard it before this evening.
And
It's
it's
so good.
been around for a while.
It-
Yeah, 2017.
2017 it came out, and like I don't even remember hearing about it at the
Yeah.
time.
Yeah,
truly.
it had been sitting in my house for a while. David had given it to us, and so we finally, like I said the other night, decided to watch a movie, and that was what we chose, and it was good.
Yeah.
Heartwarming story of August Pullman. So is it based on true events, or is it based on?
Absolutely.
No,
it
I
is?
don't know if it's based on true events. No, one incredibly
I do
inspiring,
believe it
heartwarming
is.
story of August Pullman, born with. Carl, look it up, see if it's based on a true story.
But still, I mean, it's real.
Regardless.
It's a real thing.
Regardless.
You
And I'm
could,
sure
you could take a
something
lot
like-
from it.
And
I
I'm
mean,
sure
yeah.
something like that has happened in somebody's life.
Yeah, it's a physical deformity, and learning how to go to school with such a thing, and the judgment you receive, and the backlash you
Absolutely.
receive.
not based on a true
kids
story.
Kids
Okay.
at that age can be really cruel.
Very
It's
cool.
how we're inspired
Yeah.
by real events.
Okay.
Inspired by real events, but not based on a true story.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you
One
can
of
take a
those.
lot from it, no matter what.
No
Absolutely.
matter what, you can take a lot from it. But yeah, really, really excellent movie. I do want to say we did have it, not from the coronavirus, actually, as far as we know, but we did have with everything going on, it probably doesn't get looked at as much, but Kenny Rogers passed away.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I unfortunately,
Right.
I have something funny about it though, because I said this to Tommy late last night because he was here. We're drinking.
I think I know what you're going to say.
Playing Madden.
I think he passed the joke on to me earlier today. But go ahead.
So we were talking. We were playing this game, drinking, and I got the alert on my phone that said Kenny Rogers passed away, and I said, Kenny Rogers passed away, Tommy. And he goes, who? And I said, the guy that had the song. It was like, gotta know when to fold 'em. And Tommy goes, well, I guess he did.
Yeah, know when to walk away, know when to run, and he knew when to run. He was like, well, it's time to fold him, and it's time to walk away.
With
and
the
time to
run. With what's going on, but that just killed me. Tommy's too much.
Yeah, it should be known that like he did not die of the coronavirus, but he did pass away, and he knew when it was time to walk away and time to run.
You know what? I got to get out of this fuck show.
and Tommy always knows the right thing to say at the right time.
He's just hilarious. Tommy Two Phones.
Sure. Shout
Tommy
out to Two Phones.
And then we have some big. The only real news that we have going on is the fact of the NFL is I think saving a lot of people with all the crazy moves that have been going on.
Yeah, with sports essentially shutting down totally.
Right, which is a big part of a lot of people's lives.
Yeah, you don't notice how much, even if you don't watch, if you're not some people, you still kind of know that it's happening, and you know that it's some people's release,
transactions,
and some people's entertainment, and it's some people it's the way they escape from reality.
Yeah.
So the fact that it isn't there for a lot of people it's very strange, and there's a whole industry based on that, and a lot of people have said, and a lot of teams have come out, and even big star players have donated. People work at those arenas on an hourly basis, and people depend on that, and just like any other jobs, it good on those star players and those organizations who have set up programs for their arena employees and security and whoever it may be. Good for them for setting up programs to pay those people while this is going on, and they're out of a job, and too, just like a lot of people and a lot of small a lot, they're taking care of their people, and it's good to see.
Because, it is good to see. But the news from them is what's been distracting people, some I'd say, in a good way.
Right.
We all needed a little distraction at this point in time.
Like Tom Brady going to the Bucs, I think is maybe one of the biggest things.
Yeah, that's probably the biggest move. Just because maybe not
what brought that on? I'm not the sports person. So.
But his contract was up. He's a lot older. And
so you think he'll get more playing time with the Bucs?
Well, no, he's a starter no matter where he goes.
I think no matter what, he was probably going to start. But I think the writing maybe was on the wall with the Patriots. They had a great defense, but he didn't have an offense around him. There wasn't an opportunity to thrive, and he might have been in the right system, but he couldn't thrive the way he was accustomed to. So just like anyone else, he spent 20 seasons with the same team. 20
and took less money every year to try to get players to help them win a Super Bowl.
Wow. That's unbelievable.
So but people are like, oh, we don't think he's going to do anything. They're still going to be a bad team. You must be out of your mind.
No.
Last year,
Chris Godwin is my keeper for sure in my fantasy league because I know he's going to blow up.
Yeah. Well, and last year with the Patriots, he had no receivers. Julian Edelman was not the same.
No,
they had no Gronk.
They had Gordon, who knows what's going on with him.
Yeah, and he ended up going somewhere else,
and he got suspended.
Yeah, and got suspended again.
So
now he has Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, O.J. Howard, Cameron Brate, and a defense that was good last year,
and a running back by committee. But still, they had a decent running game.
Yeah, Ronald Jones ended up really coming along this year, and I think he'll probably take another step.
Jameis Winston had the most passing yards. I mean, he had the most interceptions, but he had the most passing yards of any quarterback. Bruce Arenas, think about the quarterbacks he's worked with. Peyton Manning, Ben Roethlisberger, Carson Palmer.
Yeah.
He's a quarterback whisperer. He's great. And Tom Brady is going to thrive for at least 1 year.
And that's my thing, too. if you think about the fact that Jameis Winston had such a crazy year yardage-wise.
He had 5,000 yards.
Yeah.
5,000 plus yards.
And now
yards.
Tom Brady is not going to have those turnovers that he had.
No, he's not going to throw 38 interceptions or whatever the hell he had.
So he's going to improve that team dramatically.
For sure. They might go 8-8, but
I think there's a good chance they're a playoff contender.
no, I
really
would
do.
agree. Their division is, I mean, they always have trouble in their division, but I think with Tom Brady and the other thing about it, I don't think it'll happen because Bruce Arenas has experience with this person, but Tom Brady wanted to court Antonio Brown to whatever team he went to.
Which I think is just a bad move, to be honest.
It probably is because he's got so much other shit going on. Like he lost it. Have you heard his rap music? It's horrendous.
Yeah, well, so it's a lot of rap music today.
But anyway,
Mom, you gotta lift up on that, make sure it closed.
I don't think that'll happen just because Bruce Arenas was in Pittsburgh with him and he knows what he knows.
You gotta hand me the stuff. I'm not.
He knows what he's getting basically, and I don't think he wants that in his locker room. Being the head coach, I don't think he wants that in his locker room. But
small bottle on top of the fridge.
Do you even need it with Mike Evans and Chris Godwin?
No, it's just an overload. And your two tight ends, like their tight ends are both good tight ends, a lot better than he had last year.
Right. Yeah, two tight end, like especially because he thrived in a two tight end system too. Like when they had Gronk and when they had Gronk and they had Aaron Hernandez for a time, and then they had some other guys. For Ben Watson, even thrived in that system, even though he was old. He still was a formidable player, I would say. I mean, still had a couple touchdowns each season when he was there.
Right.
So I mean, he's used to the two tight end system, and Cameron Brate and OJ Howard are both pretty proven in the league to be able to produce. And Chris Godwin, I mean, he's a talent that like none other, and so is Mike Evans.
Both of those are talented.
Yeah,
like no
so
other.
I
mean,
think
Mike Evans is a tight end height and build with receiver
honestly
attributes.
Chris Godwin is the same way. He's pretty much the same
he's
size.
He's not 6'6", is he?
Yeah, maybe not 6'6", but I think he's 6'4", and I think he's about 210. 210 pounds.
Oh shit! I didn't realize that.
He's a big dude. I'm telling you.
Let's go to right there. 6'1" and 209.
Call at your boy.
Look up Mike Evans. I think Mike Evans is actually 6'5".
Yeah, I think he's 6'5", 6'6".
Oh yeah, let's just take a look at this. That's two really formidable receivers, and Godwin is actually pretty fast too, I believe. 6'5", 225 pounds. That man is a monster, and he's fast as wide receivers. He's literally a tight end build.
Okay, so I don't know much about football, so Momma Hammer is going to interrupt here and say, I don't know much, but that sounds really big.
Yeah, that's big people. Whew. Those are big people for sure.
So he even like on my dating statue, he's like way taller.
He fits the bill.
He fits the bill.
Hey, Chris Godwin, Mike Evans. We have somebody single and looking at you.
Oh no, I don't think I qualify as single anymore.
She closed down all our dating map profiles. So.
Okay, yeah, we did say boyfriend maybe not even 10 minutes ago. So you're right. I think we've quantified that as a boyfriend level.
I want to give some people things to maybe watch while you're in quarantine and things like that maybe you haven't seen, stuff that's more recent.
Frozen 2.
Yeah, Carl, go look up movies going straight to streaming because I think we're going to see a lot of that.
I also want to encourage people while we are in this quarantine to please remember our neighbors and
We've already done that.
I know, but I also I not only do I want to remind them of that that everybody thinks this doesn't include me. Just remember, whoever you come in contact with is affecting many other people.
Yeah, honestly, even when you are, like, say, just because, like, I want to help people. Like, if people need me to go to the grocery store, let me know. I'll go to the grocery store. But something that I have to be wary of is,
don't
especially if it's for older people, don't go into their house.
Right.
Leave their stuff on the step.
On the porch, whatever.
Yeah, because especially with older people who are in at more risk, or just people that are at more risk in general.
Some of those people are really scared.
Yeah,
for sure.
Not just really scared, but it's better safe than sorry.
Yeah, absolutely.
And,
Kroger.
You don't know what you're passing on to others.
I don't know about other chains, but I know Kroger has an hour set aside early in the morning that's just for the elderly.
Right, and more and more starting that.
It might be like 7 to 8 p.m. or a.m. rather. They're only open for the elderly, and like we need to respect that, and do not go and try to go in at that time because.
And actually, real quick, I'm going to let you guys talk about this for a minute. I'm going to use the restroom, and then we'll get into the movies. Go ahead and keep talking.
Okay.
can I say that also, people are saying, well, it's so early, it's this and that, but I want you to remember that they have then been closed all night. They have cleaned. They have done all these things. So the first people they are letting in are those that are the most susceptible. So let's not complain. Like you were complaining that there was nothing for them. And now the reason we're letting them in first is because it is clean. Hopefully there are no germs left at this point for them. So that is why they are being the first ones let in the store.
Right. Yeah. And everyone else has to remember and respect that. Like, and even think about those in these dire times. I guess you could say that like they're probably really scared too, and just like the same stress that other people are feeling, that the elderly are going to feel too, and they know. They've heard the reports. They know they're more susceptible. They know they might have other pre-existing conditions, that they're immunocompromised, and that we need to respect those times and let them get the things that they need, and whether it's pickup, delivery, whatever it may be, like we need to respect their space and their boundaries and give them their chance to be the first people in the store, and when it's fully disinfected and when it's fully like right after cleaning, and good for Kroger's and other chains that are following suit, and whoever maybe took that initiative on first. I'm not 100% sure, but I know Kroger because I've seen it posted, and good for them for allowing the elderly to be in their store at 7 a.m. before anyone else can get in, and whatever it may be.
And I think we need to remember, like, yeah, we've all said we would go help them or we would do, but a lot of them have that sense of independence.
Right.
So they want to be able to go do for themselves.
Yeah.
So give them this time
you
and
have
let
to,
them do that.
You do have to remember
that. Let them feel their independence. And, none of us want to be dependent on anybody. I don't want to be dependent on David. I don't want to have to call Chris or Justin and say, hey.
Carl.
Oh, yeah.
Whoever it may be,
come, will you please go get this for me?
Right. Yeah. Everybody values their
feel
independence. Everyone values their independence, and we need to respect that, and let people take advantage of the opportunities they have, and try and keep them safe on no matter what it takes.
Absolutely.
And let them be there. Let them take advantage of the hourly, like the 1 hour. That's all they're asking. Like, okay, stay away for 1 hour. That's fine. Like,
and you can't complain that, why is it first thing in the morning? Well, because it's first thing in the morning because the store has been clean the night before, and hopefully we are pretty germ free at this point. And so it is a good time for them.
Right.
It's actually the best time for them because they've had a chance to do the cleaning and do all those things.
So many elderly people are already immunocompromised, no matter what it may be. Like they could be
bodies just break down.
Yeah, they could be in good health, but still of old age. Your immune system is weaker, no matter what. No matter what precautions you may be taking.
Yeah, completely agree.
So the fact that they're being let in when the store is fully disinfected and everything is put out,
and things should be fully stocked at that time. So let them have that first pick and let them do. They are not our hoarders, and they are not our. They've all lived through some different times than we have.
Absolutely.
So they're not our hoarders that are
right. They're just
stealing
trying
all
to
their
get
toilet paper. They just want to make sure they can get through.
Just trying to get what they need, and we need to let them take advantage of their time as well. Because maybe we might have the energy to if something wasn't at one store, we might have the energy to go to another place and check there, and go to another place and check there. But maybe they
and we don't have those immune systems that are compromised, so we can go to those different stores and check it out.
They might only have the energy to go to one place and make sure that everything they need is there.
You know what? Just take a page for the Native Americans and take care of your elders.
Yeah,
just think of it like that. They're not even asking you to take care of it. Let them get in there.
Yeah, just give them some time. Give them some space. Give them
like
some time.
Like I said, they want that independence, so many of them. It's one of my people tell me tonight, you don't have to bring me something else to eat. Yeah, I do. It will make me feel better. I will know that you are not going out looking for something. You may already have some things stocked up, but stick this in your freezer and know that, I need to know that you're looked after and not out looking for something.
Yeah, just that it's there for you, and when you might need something, you don't have to go out. You can just thaw it out or throw it in the oven, whatever it may be.
Now, a couple of things just for people to be doing while they're on a quarantine. One, you can get together and do a podcast and drink a bunch of bourbon.
Right. Content is king.
Or what am I drinking? Rum and Coke?
Rum and Coke.
Captain Morgan Private Stock.
Yeah.
Usually I'm a wine drinker, so, these these three gentlemen are bad influences in my life, but they have probably been bad influences in my life for many years.
No, we were headaches before.
Yeah. Oh, you were headache? Yeah.
Now you've accepted our presence.
Let's not get too sidetracked, though. All right.
You've accepted how we are, and you're just okay with it. And Dave, you need to open your new bottle of the H. Taylor because I just finished it.
Go ahead and grab it.
No, I don't. I don't think I could take any more.
Guys, though.
So
a different perspective for you guys.
Well, again, let's not get too sidetracked into that. We keep going back to how you love us. We get it. We love you too.
We do love you for sure.
But let's stick to where things you can do.
Now.
Things you can do. So one, you should try to do some kind of working out at home, even though the gyms are closed.
Most definitely. Places that are still open, I should include me and my girlfriend Corinne. We've been getting out and hiking a lot. Like state parks are still open. Like even like Bellevue Golf Course is still open to the public. It used to. I mean, obviously, it used to be a golf course. It's owned by Franciscan now, I think, but there are trails there and there are paths there to walk and run if you want to, and like you can get into the woods. You can go out, get some nature, get some fresh air.
Being out in the open air is still good.
Right.
You're not going to be
surrounded.
surrounded.
Into that 10 or more.
Yeah. None of that is closed. Like get out there, take a hike, take a walk, take a run, whatever whatever you're compelled to do. But like nature's there for you and the fresh air is there for you. So like that, none of that is shut down.
Yeah.
Right.
So
Absolutely.
you should get there. And we've been trying to more and more get out and. There's Raccoon State Park right in Burgett. Like you can get there right from Burgettstown. Like I said, Bellevue golf courses, basically trails now. The cart paths, they're still there. You can still walk them, and it does.
I just walked the neighborhood the other day.
Yeah, and you can just walk around the neighborhood. You can still get out. You can stay away. But you can still be out and breathing the fresh air and getting back to nature and all
Which
those
is
things.
all great things.
Yeah, that's all gonna be for the betterment of you and your mental health, your physical health, and everything like that.
Yeah, please don't stay locked up in your house if it's not necessary. Get a little fresh air.
Mm-hmm.
But even working out, even if you don't have equipment to work out, you can do push-ups, you can do crunches, you can do air squats, you can do just random little things.
Just go on
you
YouTube.
Eat correctly.
Yeah, definitely. Well, do your best to eat correctly. It's hard, slim pickings in the grocery stores.
Right. Yeah. Do what you can, but still, you can get on YouTube. You can look up a 5-minute workout at home. You can look up 10, 20, whatever you're comfortable with doing. You can do yoga in your living room.
And actually, that's what I want to touch on with the yoga. Is actually somebody local, Amanda Gill. She was about to open a studio, and obviously that's been held back, a yoga studio. She actually is going to. She actually just came and picked up some equipment for me today. She is going to do online yoga classes. And she is going to put it, I think, on YouTube and not Vimeo.
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 Yeah.
So she is going to she's working on getting it set up now, and it's going to be Empowered Yoga is her yoga business, and I don't know if she's going to ask for money for it. I think some of it will be free, maybe some of it will be
subscription.
Some of it will be subscription.
I think we need to remember to support those small businesses.
Oh yeah.
And I think you also need to remember that when this is all over and done with, and we are allowed to go back in the public, please support those small,
and
family-owned restaurants. Please, nothing against the chains; they have been great also. But our small local,
they're going to take the bigger
businesses, they're going to take the bigger hit. Please support them.
And good for her for
be there with
putting that content out there and giving people a way to a release, what have you, whatever it may be. Like good for her for putting that out there. And, like giving people the option to do so, and like her and then anything else on YouTube, like whatever you whatever you follow, whatever you do at home, like it's important to stay physically active.
Absolutely.
And
you don't want to just sit around and become a couch potato.
Right, because boosting your immune system is one thing, and making sure you're in good cardiovascular health is also important.
Part of that.
And it also will help you fight the things that are around you, like your immune system being strong, your cardiovascular health being strong, your physical fitness being strong is going to make you less susceptible to contract some sort of virus or whatever it may be. Whatever, no matter what, coronavirus removed, even still, your cardiovascular health is important, and you should be still simulating that.
And anybody
Absolutely.
that thinks yoga is something that they have no desire to do, check it out at least once. Yoga's so good for you.
Yeah,
It's really awesome.
It'll make
For
you
a
feel
lot of
good.
Yeah, you'll feel
for sure.
great. You'll release a lot of endorphins. You will be kind of, for lack of a better term, sounds corny, but zen afterwards.
Yeah.
You will. It's a big de-stressor.
And you know-
physical health, mental health, it encompasses it all. And
It does.
whether you follow
Amanda Gill
or
somebody else.
or somebody else, like
Yeah.
support the small business if you
Absolutely.
can, but also take a look at yourself and support your own physical health
And
as much
here's
as you
the
can.
thing.
Yeah.
Someone that's coming from the older age range that, we need it as much as if not more. So please make sure that you look after your physical health, your mental health.
Yeah. Well, the physical is just going to roll into the mental.
Yeah,
It really is.
it's
and
all
I
connected.
am living proof of that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
most definitely, and it's all connected. And physical health and mental health, they go hand in hand. And as long as you're staying positive in both, you'll be able to overcome a whole slew of things.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Not just
But
what's going on around you.
And now for when you want to be lazy.
For when you want to be lazy,
what are we gonna do when we want to be lazy?
Well,
David?
movies,
There's a lot of options
movies
out there.
and TV, I think, are going to be the two big things right now. So recently came out, Knives Out was an amazing movie.
is that great? I haven't seen it.
I have
seen
that.
that
I'll send
one.
you home with that too.
Okay, good. I do want to
So
see
have
that.
you guys watched Carol? What's it called? Carol in Charge. Can you look that up for me, Carl? Carol.
Carl in Charge.
No, Carol.
Well, let me.
Oh, she's becoming a doctor. She's like my age.
But hold on, let me finish talking about Knives Out, and then we'll jump into this one
Okay.
that you're talking about. So, Knives Out is a movie. It's got a star-studded cast.
Yeah,
I mean,
think
it's
one,
got
one thing I did know about it. It had all kinds of people in it.
Yeah. Let's just read through. So we got Daniel Craig, Chris Evans, Mr. Captain America himself, Anna de Armas,
Jamie Lee Curtis.
Jamie Lee
I haven't
Curtis,
seen her in a long time.
Michael Shannon, Don Johnson.
Don
who-
Oh,
Johnson.
my mom
my
loves.
boyfriend.
My mom loves Don Johnson.
He has been my boyfriend for as long as I can remember.
Tony Collette, Christopher Plummer. I mean,
I was gonna say I'm gonna skip ahead to Christopher Plummer and say, oh my goodness.
yeah, it's a great cast.
Wow. I've not seen this before, David.
Yeah.
And it just came out, and it is
Ryan Johnson movie too, so
Yeah,
pretty big name director.
Yeah, to me it's a better Clue. Like it has some comedy, but it also
Okay, so
has
it's like
seriousness to it. Yeah, it's like a
So
like a
Justin,
little.
you're gonna have to share it with Momma Hammer.
It's
okay,
it's like a mystery type
Bring
movie.
it back. Don't worry.
Mystery type movie, great cast, great movie, a lot of fun. I really did not have to. A lot of movies now, because we have these phones, you end up picking up your phone, and it's a movie I didn't pick up my phone.
You get distracted and you're like, oh, well, let me check Instagram or
Yeah.
whatever it may
Right.
This was no, I did not pick up my phone.
be. Kept
one
your
time.
attention. That's
Yeah.
good
Does
because
that mean that's why you didn't answer me?
Maybe.
probably that's a
Um,
good gauge of movies these days. Honestly, like how many times did I have to get on Instagram and
Right.
see what's
Yeah.
going on? Or like,
Yeah,
sad to say, but I mean that's what
It's
takes
true.
it. That's what grabs our attention.
yeah. So that's a good one. Honestly, I just watched that Jay and Silent Bob reboot.
What is it?
Jay and Silent Bob. It's a goofy comedy.
You may not have seen.
I
the
never
first
heard of
one.
it.
I loved it.
Really? I bet I would love it. I mean, I love Kevin Smith and
And this
everything he's
one-
ever done. Really.
And this one is free on Amazon now.
Is it?
Really?
Awesome.
Yeah,
Awesome.
yeah.
I know at first, like when they first released it, they were doing like really small, like
I never
like
heard
just
of
like
it.
it was when they first came out with it. It was basically like a theater tour. They would
You'd
go.
probably hate this, Mom.
They like would go a place. They would like show it, and like Kevin Smith would be there, and
Right.
he would like talk about it. Like it was like super small at the beginning. Like he was
Really?
actually touring with it, basically like touring.
That's exactly
with
what
the
they were
movie,
doing.
which is crazy, but also pretty cool at the same time. Like he basically went on tour with his own movie, released
Yeah.
it at different theaters, and like
That's interesting.
there was like a Q&A with
Right,
the fans, and
exactly.
like you're getting your diehard fans
Yeah.
to come to see it first, and that's pretty cool.
Well, and what was
even
great
with a
is
smaller
this was
like production.
this was definitely a throwback to his diehard fan movies. Like this is a throwback to those simple budget,
Mallrats,
simple,
and
yeah,
Clerks
dude.
1.
It made I immediately tried to go and see if I could watch Mallrats for free. Like I
Hell
was
yeah.
that amused by it.
Really?
Yeah, it was really, really good. All right, Carl, let's see if I highly recommend it. It's stupid, as most of those movies are with Jay and Silent Bob and Dogma and all that, but it's just really entertaining. A good laugh, which, again, it's a great
important.
time for a good laugh.
It's a good time for a good laugh for
Absolutely.
sure.
So is this one of the ones you would recommend for date night at home?
No,
maybe not for you guys.
No. It's a lot of weed smoking, foul language.
Okay, yeah. Not going to
all the stuff you're into.
Yeah. Carl, let's go ahead and see if we can find the one that my mom was trying to look up. What do you think it is? Carol.
Oh yeah, Carol's Second Act.
Carol's Second Act.
It's a show.
All right, we got it coming up here. Carol's Second Act. Try to find it. Is there an IMDb so we can see? So it's just started. CBS. It's probably going to be decently hard to find. What are you watching it on?
I am watching it on Hulu.
Okay, so it is on Hulu.
Patricia Heaton. No, you had to love her from Tim Allen.
Oh, Tool Time.
Yes.
What was that?
Yes.
Home Improvement.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. She is, I'm going to say my age. She's becoming a doctor.
Yeah, let's just read the synopsis here.
It's great.
Scroll up a little bit. Where'd the synopsis go? What did you do, Carl? Okay, here we go. At age 50, Carol Kenny has raised her children, gotten divorced, and retired from teaching. Instead of kicking up her heels and taking a well-earned break, she decides it's time to start over, committing to the pursuit of her dream and becoming a doctor. As the oldest medical intern by a lot, she must sink or swim with peers who are half her age. Luckily for her, her enthusiasm, perspective, and even her age may be exactly what makes her Second Act a great success. Well, it sounds like a feel-good show, and I love doctor shows.
It is, and I think probably for me more so.
It's very reflective of your own life.
It is. I mean, most of you know that I am running my own business, but I don't know that many of you know that it was not my choice of business.
No.
It is not. It has never been my thing. It was not something I got into because it was my thing. I got into it because when my husband died, it has supported us for many years.
Like the whole family?
Yeah, the whole family.
Carl, can you hand me a Bud Light?
So watching this has really, and because I am back in school and taking some classes, it gave me that you know what, it's okay. We can start over at 58 years of age.
Yeah.
So I'm really enjoying it.
But so you would recommend it for this time where people are looking for things to do inside their own house?
Absolutely. And like I said, it just it really struck a chord with me.
Nice.
Just because David of all people knows that this is. Had you given me my choice,
right,
this would never have been my life, ever.
But you're getting more comfortable with it now that you're ahead.
Who knew that I was going to learn to speak in public?
Even what you're doing now, and this could reach any number of people.
Yeah.
And you're putting a lot of personal
and honestly,
information out.
Everybody,
I am.
Honestly, everybody in this room knew you were good at talking.
Really? Because I didn't. I was always good at talking when it was just you kids. I was good at yelling at Brian because
Carl.
I was good at yelling at Carl because he was eating my cheese.
Carl literally used to just walk into our house without knocking and walk to the fridge and take slices of American cheese because he said our cheese was better than the cheese at his house.
Same cheese. But I think maybe what you all need to know is my goal in life was to be a really good wife and mom. I had no aspirations for being self-employed. I had no aspirations for many of the things I do now. I had no aspirations to be responsible for putting food on other people's tables. So
that's not true. You were the one cooking the food.
This is true, but this is just never.
Yeah.
I mean, my goal in life was to be a really good mom and a really good wife.
We will do a whole podcast on this, but you keep getting sidetracked from what we're trying to do.
Right. I'm just saying that this was a good show for me because Carol is starting all over and she's becoming this
absolutely
embodying this.
It was easy for you to relate to, and it might be easy for others to relate to that may not know about it and maybe going through similar situations. And that's what a lot of entertainment is for a lot of people.
Finding stuff you can relate to.
It's an escape
awesome.
From reality
Right.
for one, but it's also finding things you could relate to and things you can learn from, and whether it's a show or a book or whatever it may be, like there's those outlets for people,
Right.
and it's important for us to explain them, and maybe people could pick up something they didn't know about or they could learn from.
So I have a child that is so so involved in the human interaction, and then I have 2 children that are very medically involved, and I had a doctor tell me, like, I can't believe you were never a nurse. And I thought, oh my gosh, that's why 2 of my children are like, I don't think I could be a nurse, but that's why 2 of my children are a nurse. But I am a caring
You take care of a lot of people.
I do.
You're a caretaker.
Most
I am definitely a caretaker.
Yeah. Like you've kind of explained, on this podcast that there were people you took care of, and the tremendous loss you dealt with, and all kind of fell into place like together, and you've overcome that, and it's important for people to know that, and for you to hear that if you're out there.
Yeah, absolutely,
definitely.
So, Justin,
but there's also shows you want to watch.
So, Justin, what would be your recommendation for people right now?
A show. What am I going to watch? Justin?
A show right now on Netflix that I've been into. I'm almost finished with. I think I have one episode left. It's called The Stranger. It's on Netflix. It's a Netflix original. Not too many known people in it. Mostly British actors and actresses that are making up the cast. And it's based on a novel by Harlan Coben. If anyone is familiar with his works, I actually read a book by Harlan Coben.
Justin's the best for this because he does so much research into the shows that he likes.
It's true. I do like to. I get it. I dive right in.
So what has Harlan Coben written?
I read a book by him years back. It's called Play Dead. It really. I never read this book, but I did read Play Dead by Harlan Coben, and it's kind of. It's fantasy but it's like maybe kind of there's some fiction based, like some I should say non-fiction based parts of his works, but it's mostly
could be
kind of like Dan Brown.
Similar to Dan Brown, historical fiction a little bit works in. Play Dead, the one novel I read about him or from him was not too much historical fiction, but it's about like a basketball player who's married to a famous tabloid person, and then like the basketball player dies, and it's all about like how his wife kind of dealt with it. She was famous too, and she was dealing with his death, but then like there was this rookie basketball player who was like making a lot of noise in the league, and it turned out to be like all this conspiracy, and like it ended up being the dude that had died and was like him again, but he had like reconstructive surgery. He was a completely different person.
Wow. Oh, okay.
That's all crazy.
So it nutso.
So just like crazy shit, like a good read, very fast paced, very like in your face, like all obviously fiction, but very like in your face and fast paced. And if you wanted to read something like that, like not like a slow descriptive novel, but like very fast-paced, mystery-based, like all kinds of factors played into like this person dying, but there was a cover-up, and then like a new person came into the into the NBA, and like the girl kind of found out and like dug and got to the bottom of everything.
Okay.
Anything like that. Anyway, The Stranger, same author, same kind of shit, like fast-paced, but it's called The Stranger because basically what happens is this random person will pop up in someone's life, like maybe at the deli, the coffee shop, whatever it may be. She just shows up and she starts like spilling some shit on you that someone close to you has done that you didn't know about. You really weren't ready for it all.
So all the okay, yeah.
So like,
she's letting you know all the secrets and
like,
stuff. Okay.
She's out there. She's spilling some tea you weren't ready to learn. You didn't know about. You didn't have an inkling of information about. Like
kind of like what we talked about earlier.
A little bit, but like more like a way more dramatic, way more invested. Like. For one, like the main person it revolves around is like this dude, and she comes up and she's like, remember how you're like, okay, so dude's married, has a wife, has 2 sons, maybe like a high school age and a middle school age son, and then like she was pregnant, lost the baby through miscarriage, something like that. But then the stranger comes about, and she's like, listen up, bro, you remember when she was pregnant? That shit was fake.
Oh.
Really?
And like just drops this bomb out on him. Like he's just like unsuspecting, just like getting some coffee in the morning, just like any other day. And she drops a truth bomb on him.
Wow.
And like it's all about like how he deals with that. He's a lawyer for some other people. Some other people that he deals with are into some shady shit, it turns out. There's some cops. They're into some shady shit, it turns out. And it's like all really, you know, the web that the stranger you might envision as like an antagonist and a bad guy, but really they're shedding light on the
bad
true
stuff.
negative that's out there.
Right.
So it's really crazy, and like it's a great show, and like you can get really invested in it. It's all
I'll definitely check that out.
Yeah, it's very good. All British, some lesser known people. The main guy, he looks super familiar, but I really can't place him and tell you another thing he's been in, Carl, if you want to pull that up. But like the cast, it's all British, like I said, but Richard Armitage, I think, would probably be the best known person. But even
I've definitely seen him in stuff.
Yeah,
but
he's got a familiar face, but I don't really know exactly what he's been in.
Scroll up a little bit, Carl.
I don't watch enough TV, so I don't.
Okay, so he was in The Hobbit. Like, looks like he was in the whole Hobbit series. He was Thorin in The Hobbit. If you could put a face to that.
That's who I'm thinking of, actually. That's exactly what I'm thinking
with
of.
The hair
yeah,
and the
all the
goatee.
hair. Yeah, badass.
Yeah, the one badass dude from all the Hobbit movies. And other than that, I can't really place another actor or actress that's been in it.
No,
but it is a great show, and it'll really get you roped in right away. It's pretty fast paced. Like I said, like there's like different people that this stranger pops up in the lives of, but they all end up being kind of intertwined.
Yeah.
And like nobody knows like who it's a woman, like who she is and where she's getting her information, and she's like always with this other lady.
Yeah,
and, like people are starting to confront her and chase her, and it's all about that. And so season 1 is pretty fast paced, pretty enjoyable so far.
So is there many seasons to it?
There's only been one released. It's relatively new. Came out maybe a couple maybe a month ago, a couple weeks ago, something like that. Relatively new, but very good. I'd recommend for sure.
January 3rd is when it first came out. I will throw out there real quick I want to touch on something that my mom will love, but I do want to throw out there that Ozark season 3 is coming out soon.
Yes. I'm into that for sure. Next Friday, I think it drops.
And if you haven't watched Ozarks, go ahead and get caught up on that. It's an amazing show. It's really good. It has to do with a family. Jason Bateman. Jason Bateman is he works at an investment place. But really what he's doing is he's laundering money for the cartel.
Yeah.
Wow.
And one of his associates started skimming from the cartel, and they got caught.
Not a good thing.
No, and they got caught.
Never great.
They got caught, and they end up murdering those people, and he gets to stay alive because he tells them, I can set up another laundering thing for you.
Yeah.
I was not skimming from
He's
you.
like, I'm the numbers guy. I didn't skim anything. I know how to make this work, basically.
Yeah, and he
That's
moved
interesting.
He says he can do it from the Ozarks, so they moved to the Ozarks, and all this crazy shit happens.
Where your family is from?
Yeah,
the Lake of the Ozarks. Yeah, like super.
That's where David's family's from.
The Hammer side. Yep.
Low key, like backcountry folk. Some of the people he gets involved is like a young girl that lives in like a trailer community, but she's like really business savvy, and it's really interesting, and I really love that. I do love that show. Yeah, and I can't wait for season 3.
I cannot wait. It took me a while to get on board with that. You should check it out.
I may have to check it out.
You would like that, I think.
Yeah, 2 seasons out already, so you can binge those 2, and then season 3 comes out next Friday, and I really can't wait.
Yeah. So what I did want to bring up,
I love Jason Bateman.
I love Jason Bateman. Whether it's comedy, whether it's serious.
And he directed and produced a lot of those. The Outsider, which we kind of tried to touch on earlier.
Yeah.
Got a little sidetracked. But
right. Outsider is really great, so everybody should check that out.
I know.
As well.
I need to get back on and finish it, and I'm sorry that I fell off.
But something, and it is, even though these aren't for me, I probably won't watch them, but it is definitely feel-good movies, and I do like that they did this. But Hallmark has put out all of their Christmas movies. We found out a lot about Carl. Carl loves Hallmark movies. We didn't know.
I really didn't know that about Carl till this evening.
Momma Hammer loves them.
But Momma Hammer loves the Hallmark movies, and I think that actually is something good for people. It gives,
They feel good.
They're feel good. They're feel
Any
good
Christmas
movies.
movie is going to be a feel good movie, usually, no matter what.
Yeah,
But it's not just the Christmas thing.
Even
it's
like
the
Jack
whole,
Frost.
It's not even the Christmas
I'll watch
thing.
anything
it's
with
the
Michael
whole,
Keaton.
The whole feel good, the whole in love, the whole
positivity is it was what everyone really needs right now, and I think that's important to remember. Even with the content and the entertainment you're taking in, like positivity should be your main source, and it'll grow exponentially from there. Just like anything, like keep yourself positive thoughts, positive, like surround yourself with positivity. Basically, is what I'm trying to say.
So then I do want to just go ahead and jump into I had Carl pull it up earlier, the movies that are going to maybe be going straight to streaming or getting released sooner than planned. Because,
Frozen 2.
Yeah, so
it's already out.
Right, Frozen 2 already out for free as well.
Disney,
on
if you have Disney Plus, yeah.
Right.
So
go ahead and go up to the top of that. Rise of Skywalker, not for free, but you can buy it already. Yeah,
you can buy it already.
But will come out for rent here at the end of the month.
Yeah, like you would think buying now, but renting soon with a lot of these things, like Onward, which literally just came out in theaters, another cartoon. So,
but that's for free already on Disney Plus, right?
First week of April, I think it'll be for free on Disney Plus, and you can buy it already. But it just came out in theaters. You have to remember that too. So they're really putting this content out for you, like almost instantly. But
I heard Emma. I heard some good things about Emma.
I don't know anything about Emma. I think that's already been made. Probably coming out again.
It's a Jane.
It's a remake.
Jane Austen.
Jane Austen adaptations have been around forever, but it's another one, and
but I've heard it's good.
It'll probably relate to the times as well, and it's another, just another thing that people have to, escape.
Yeah,
but I've heard it's good. I've heard some good things about it.
That's good.
Then The Hunt, a dark comedy thriller starring Hilary Swank, was released in theaters March 13th. It's going to be on video on demand March 20th.
So that might be for purchase as well at first, but you would think that it would be coming out for rent also, and things like that as well. Like it'll be for purchase first. You would think that that's what they're going to go with first, because just because they're huge, they're still going to try to make their money.
But I still think the renting would do well.
We're going to see a lot of changes in movies right now with everything going on.
Oh, yeah. This is what's going to happen. They're all going to go to streaming.
It'll all go to streaming because, streaming is king. And just like your podcast, content is going to be king right now because people can't get out.
Yeah, I'm going to try to, even if I can't get guests over, I'm going to try to even do some talking myself.
So even if you had a producer like throwing you current events, throwing you questions,
right?
Like, even to get some content out, I think will be beneficial just because there's nowhere to go.
Yeah.
I think we'll finish our podcast.
Yeah, we definitely should be doing that soon.
Yeah.
Then Birds of Prey, which is let's be honest, it's the Harley Quinn movie.
Right, yeah, for sure.
They even changed the name of it to try to get more people to watch it. This is actually probably going to be the best thing for them because it did terrible in theaters.
Right.
Do you know that Harley Quinn, I have to say, for our business has been a big thing. There's been a lot of pins made for Harley Quinn.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
She's no matter how the movie does or anything, but she's a popular character, and she's going to do well for the DC universe, even though they've been way behind Marvel, and that's well documented, and their movies haven't done as good, and blah blah.
They haven't done as good for good reason.
For good reason, like there were some.
But in pin trading, she's been big.
Like Man of Steel, that's still one of my favorite superman movies.
Yeah,
and
Man of Steel was good.
Like, that was a great movie, but DC's still been behind the curve. But I think this will do well for them, even because it's like more readily available and it's there for people to stream already or whenever it's going to come out. Like that's going to keep it in in the forefront in your mind. Like and content is king right now.
Yeah,
content is king.
And I don't want to see movie theaters die, but this is probably more financially stable for
putting them straight out to stream. Like you're going to reach more people. I think like people don't want like kind of what we said like. Earlier we talked about community and how like everything out there has been kind of distancing ourselves from that. This kind of plays into that. Like movies will be readily available to stream, and you won't have to go. You won't have to leave your house. Like, date night. Date night. Would you rather watch a movie on your couch or surrounded by strangers in a movie theater? Couch for sure. Like most people would say.
I like to go see the big ones in theaters.
That's
just
true.
Because
I agree.
Because of the big screen,
it's still
the
been a
sound
long
quality.
time for me, though. It's still been a long time for me. I don't know.
I like date night.
Yeah.
So
I think
we know you do. We know you do.
No, I think that even comes from my generation, though. I think that
That's true. Getting out to the theater and having the date night for sure.
The expense of it and the difference that we see in it than what you guys
going
saw
out
in it.
and having that experience for sure.
And the expense of it, I think it just makes a big difference.
The markup on popcorn and soda.
But we're cheap in our old age.
But I think it's good to get out. I do. Yeah. Obviously not right now.
Right now, it's better to stay in, but getting out and like we kind of touched on before, like getting out to the open air, like not going to a place, but getting out to the open air. Like
people should be trying to do more of that in general.
Like in Steubenville, literally, you have the Bellevue Golf Course, no longer a golf course, but still like the paths are maintained, the cart paths are still there. You can walk them, you can take your dog, you can run them. They lead to trails in the woods. You can walk to the forest. You can see good views of the Ohio River. You can see all that. You can breathe the fresh air. You can.
It's good to know.
Like it's there for you, and people need to take advantage of that.
Absolutely,
and take advantage of it even after this happens.
Yeah, 100%.
Not just because this is going on.
Just not because this is going on. Like, get out there, have that experience. I've been trying to do it more and more. I've sacrificed like time in the gym to like experience the outdoors because I think that's more important. Because
I agree.
Like it's physical activity. Like
actually, let me know sometimes when you guys go because I would like to do that.
Of course, no doubt. Because there's as many places as there are like far from us and like amazing things to see. Like
there's a lot in our backyard that we don't realize.
There's a whole lot in our backyard that we don't realize. Like
that Raccoon Park is really cool. I saw you guys posted pictures of that. Yeah, there's waterfalls.
Yeah, Raccoon's great. Like even Fernwood, there's good trails there. There's good things to see out there. Nelson's Ledges.
Just be careful with ticks though.
Yeah, no, that. When I was at Raccoon, there were 3 ticks on me. Like I had to get them off of me. But I didn't use any bug spray or anything like that time. But like, take your proper precautions for sure.
Yeah, because ticks are a serious problem with Lyme disease.
Yeah, and your pets for sure. But yeah, ticks are a serious problem. I sat down, I looked down, there were 2 crawling across my lap, and I was like, Jesus Christ, like get off of me.
That's fucking crazy. Yeah.
But no bullseye bites, nothing like that.
Good.
And I've been using bug spray since then. So take your precautions. But get out there.
Yeah.
More important to get out there.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But now back to the movies.
Back to things you can do on the inside.
Which is hilarious. But we do encourage you getting out.
Yeah.
From one to the next.
Get out, stay in, whatever works for you. Just don't breathe on old people.
That's right.
One I'm super excited for is The Gentleman, because obviously, as many of the listeners know, I'm a big Matthew McConaughey fan.
McConaughey.
That's got a lot of big names.
I like him.
Matthew McConaughey, Colin Farrell, Charlie Hunnam, Henry Golding, Hugh Grant. That's actually going to be available for rentals March 24th, and I am pumped about that. I can't wait to see this.
It says is a salty, swaggering tale of villainy and vice. That sounds exciting.
Who cares as long as it has Matthew McConaughey?
I hear you.
I think it's
he might have lost some muscle mass, but he looks great.
Yeah, that's what I was really good.
That's what I was going to say. Is it's a Guy Ritchie film, which I think he's actually going to get back to his roots of Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels.
Good,
and
great
Snatch.
Great film
with this movie, and I'm super excited for it. I believe it's about like the largest marijuana dealer in England at the time. But I'm super excited for that. I'm excited it's going to be straight to being available for rent and not purchase. So that's exciting. That's March 24th. And then I'm actually also excited for Bloodshot. It is a comic book movie with Vin Diesel. Again, digital. This one's going to be digital purchase March 24th, but still.
Honestly, it'll be out for rent weeks later.
Yeah,
you got to remember that.
I'm sure, especially at this point in our
I'll watch anything with Vin Diesel. Truly.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I really will. I don't care. I love him.
I forget who it was, but like a big name director, very big name director, said to Vin Diesel, like, it would be a crime if you stopped directing and putting out movies because you are talented.
Tell me what he has directed.
All the Fast and Furious.
I love Fast and Furious.
Literally, he's on 9 or 10.
Yeah.
And there's spinoffs.
And they're honestly they're very entertaining.
What was that movie like back in the day that he directed though? Like his first claim to fame, maybe. What was that?
I actually watched it too, and I can't think of what it was. It's really good.
He's got like a wife beater. Obviously, he's got a wife beater on.
Vin Diesel first directing.
And he was married to Madonna. Is that correct?
No.
That
was Guy Ritchie.
Guy Ritchie. Okay, I knew that name came up.
No, that's not it though. That's not it. What you're pulling up is not it. What was that? It was
honestly, go to his IMDb.
It was like Hard Knocks or something like that.
Go to his IMDb and then go to director or writer.
Like Hard Time in blank neighborhood. Like that's what it was.
Yeah, go down.
Known for Furious 7.
Go down.
X, like,
yeah, there you go. Director.
They're kind of bossy.
Try.
We are
Carl,
very bossy.
Try writer.
They are.
We are bossy with Carl, that's for sure.
Try writer.
Click on writer.
The
Stray.
Ropes?
Was it Stray?
Try Strays. Click on Strays.
It might have been Strays.
I've never heard of Strays.
I think it was Strays.
It's
It was
Strays.
Strays. 100%. That was like his
100%.
first, like, he wrote it, he directed it, starred in it. Like,
it's phenomenal.
Like, I think it was like Steven Spielberg or James Cameron. Somebody was like, listen, man, if you quit directing and putting out content, like, that is a crime to the film industry because you are talented, blah, 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 blah. Blah 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 blah. Corinne hates The Rock because he beat up Vin Diesel in Fast and Furious like 5 or something like that.
He also has one in Knockaround Guys. He has one of the
Knockaround
best
Guys. That's
scenes
one of the other things
ever.
I'm thinking of. 100% Knockaround Guys.
He walks into him and his group of friends walk into the bar and he's the tough guy, like literally the tough guy, and he's supposed to. So they find the guy who's supposed to be the tough guy in the bar, and he says, so you're the tough guy. He's like, I always wanted to be a tough guy. I took it like as a sense of pride. So I went around and I just started fighting. And he just goes through this whole speech and then beats the shit out of this man quickly. Right. And it's one of the most intense, great scenes I've ever seen.
Yeah, I think the other thing I was saying, other than Strays, I was thinking of Knockaround Guys and, like, you know, like, just great content. Like, if you want to go, now's the time to go back and revisit some things that are out. If you've never seen, like, take your time.
Yeah.
Watch these movies because there's stuff out there that'll really entertain you. You might not know it was even out. Like, Knockaround Guys, Strays. Like, watch these movies. If you love Vin Diesel and the Fast and Furious,
check out all of those.
Am I going to like these?
Fast and Furious is I love them.
Yeah, there's like all kind, like, okay, like maybe all the action scenes might not even be possible in science and things like that.
That's what it is. They're good action movies.
Yeah, great action movies
with good storylines.
Yeah, always fast paced.
Okay.
They're always there for you.
The best one though, oddly, I still think is Tokyo Drift, which is a surprise because it didn't have any of the main cast. It was just such a good movie.
There was one night, not like maybe a couple months ago, you know, you struggle if you're with someone, you struggle to agree on something to watch. There's times there might not be a show you're into. Right. You're like, what do you want to watch tonight? Right. You might be experiencing this as well because you're in a new type of thing. And you're like, what do we watch? I don't know what you're into. I put on the first Fast and Furious. Corinne was mad about it, but I fucking loved it, and she ended up liking it too because it was the very first one. You get back to all those experience, all the Ja Rule in the first Fast and Furious, Sade.
But the big difference between you and Corinne and
you know, we're on the same level, very much so, and you guys are just feeling everything out, but
right,
you might have these same. Let's hear it. Like, there's content out there. There's things to keep you entertained and like really like get back to what you really like and like everything.
And don't
like
forget
that.
to check out books. We're not going to get into books. We've been talking for a long time.
Yeah,
it's
I love audiobooks.
Yeah,
audiobooks
and,
are very important.
I'm a big reader.
Yeah.
And I love some audiobooks, and I know that there's a lot of free things going on with audiobooks right now.
Make sure you're in the mic. You keep getting off to the side.
And like there's like, and
so
if
make sure you're into that audio.
If you're into a book and like a book series, like go on YouTube and look into the author that produces them, and like they may have some videos like further explaining the books and the book series you might be into, and there might be some other people that maybe not even the author. Like I know, like I'm into Game of Thrones a lot, and like even there's a site that there's a YouTube guy I follow called AltShiftX, and he does a lot of videos on Game of Thrones and like the just characters and breaking down and all the history, and he does like Westworld 2 and like The Walking Dead, and like that's all available on YouTube, and like you can get all that, and you can get a further understanding of the universe that your content comes from, even though if it's not even the main storyline. You can get a better understanding of the characters, the worlds, and all encompassing. Like you can bring forward like more information, get a better understanding of what you're already into.
Who is he again?
It's called AltShiftX.
AltShiftX.
He's been making Game of Thrones videos for as long as I can remember, as well as like I think he did The Walking Dead for a long time, and he does Westworld as well. And like even like he'll explain trailers.
Westworld is also a good one that's coming on right now.
Yeah, dude, I don't watch that, and I really should.
Really
I don't know. I think I fucked up not watching that.
Yeah, you fucked up. It's really good.
I think that also
resounding from the room, I fucked up not watching Westworld, but
because
you can
I
see
am
right here.
Hold on.
No, go
I'm
ahead.
sorry.
Go ahead.
Because I am so into, because I travel so much for business, I do a lot of audio.
Right.
So I do believe that I just saw that Amazon is offering a
Into the mic.
90-day free trial type thing right now with everything going on.
Yeah.
So you should check that out. There's some great audio out there for different things.
Yeah, people tend to forget that you don't
Audio
have to
book.
necessarily.
I forget what their app is called.
Yeah, Audible. You don't necessarily have to read a book to get the content. You can go on these different sites and you can get an audio book.
Like I said, I use them a lot when I travel and I'm in the car.
Yeah, that's what it's great for.
That's
if you're not
where I started at, and then I find that I will finish listening to them even after I get home.
By then you're invested, so you want to finish.
So like there have been some that I have started like with one book and like went through the whole series.
If there's a whole series that exists, like that Harlan Coben guy, he made that one show on Netflix. You might get into his books, you might audio book it, you might read, whatever it may be. That's all out there for you, and people should remember that audiobooks do exist, and you don't have to necessarily, if you're not like a reader, you could. And
that was my point.
You could be in the car and like you said, traveling and listen to an audio. If you're not into a podcast or music or whatever it may be, you can listen to an audiobook. My mom, she's a library science major. Always
I didn't know that about Julie.
Always encouraged reading my whole life. My sister was a little more into it than I was, but I still tried my best, and I was a big reader for sure, especially now. Even though it's been a couple months since I picked up a book. Another story. But audiobooks is a great way to get their content. And even her, like, she was always listening to books on tape, books on CD, like in the car, like in the kitchen when she was cooking for us. Like, no matter if she couldn't be picking up a book, she was listening to an audiobook and getting her content, and like always had a dictionary with her. And that, I mean, I look to that, and that's like an inspiration. Like, you can always learn, like, even if it's getting better, like talking or your rhetoric or whatever it may be, you can always be reading a book and picking up a book and looking up in the dictionary words you don't know that maybe be referenced in the book that you're listening to or reading. And I think that's important, at all times, especially at a time like this. Like, continue to grow physically, mentally, emotionally. Like, get that stuff. Like, take in as much as you can.
Absolutely.
Even right now, if you're quarantined, if you're self-quarantined, if you're like whatever it may be, like, take in what you can, like, learn how to survive, learn different words, read your books, be well informed, listen to public health. All of that is like all encompassing right now, I think.
Absolutely. I think we're going to wrap this up. It is actually almost 12:30. Carl looks a little tired.
We've been at this a long time.
Yeah. I think we've been recording for quite a while. I think this was a good podcast. I hope everybody enjoys it. I think there's good information at the beginning. Just closing thoughts, which Justin really just kind of did. Everybody, take care of yourselves.
Can I throw something in?
Yeah.
I want to thank you for inviting me in. I know that I was totally out of the realm of what you were talking about.
No,
I know it was a little uncomfortable.
No, I was fine once we talk about it in a good way.
In a good way.
Yeah.
I totally out of the realm of your usual podcasts.
You're off to the side of the bike.
I'm sorry. I'm totally out of your usual realm of podcast.
Well, this doesn't have any. That's one thing I wanted to do with the podcast. I didn't want to have any specifics.
Right.
So.
So I've enjoyed it. I've enjoyed coming in and joining my crew that's been around for a long time.
No.
I've enjoyed putting my view into some things. It's maybe difficult for David, but the rest of you have supported me 100%, and I've enjoyed that.
Yeah.
I think even for me, seeing the different things in a different viewpoint has been good, and I'm hopefully that others have enjoyed seeing it from my viewpoint as well, some different things.
Oh, they definitely will. I think that was a really good part of the podcast, actually.
Yeah, I agree. Like hearing your experience and hearing the positivity that's come from it and the different experiences you've had with putting yourself out there would definitely inspire people, and they should listen and, take what they can from it, whether it's one way or another. You take what they can from your experience and learn from it. And
I think that it really ended up being a good part of the podcast.
And we could all continue to grow and be inspired, and everything, all the positivity, everything everyone needs right now with everything's going on. I think it would play into that.
But your younger view of things have been good, and listening to that and seeing that, and it's been good.
Good. So what I want to close with is definitely everybody stay positive. Everybody find your sense of community again. The world needs to find their sense of community.
Be kind.
Yeah. Just find your sense of community. The community is what's going to help everybody get through these times of struggle and through times of struggle in the future. So let's find it again. Let's know our neighbors. Let's help our neighbors. And I think that's it. So
wash your hands.
Wash your hands.
This
be
is
kind.
This is the Gathering of Fools. We're out.